You're going to count me down? What are you going to do? Like it's real right now? Okay. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you for joining me today for this premiere. I'm super excited to have you with us. I haven't had a chance to see the chat yet, but Diana and Christy are telling me that you're in the chat and you're going crazy and talking. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing that in a few minutes when we're airing the docuseries. I want to thank you truly, sincerely for joining me for this today, but also truly and sincerely for the last 7 years that you're about to see on this docuseries. It's pretty cool. All right, so here's how the night is gonna go. In a few moments, we're going to start the docuseries and it's gonna live stream and we're all gonna watch it together. And then when the docuseries is done, and Luann has to cough. Live TV, folks. 7 years of podcasting. Things that you can edit. I don't think that's ever happened. Okay. You know that one that's all the way at the back of your throat? Yep, there it is. Nope, we're gonna power through. Okay, so here's how it's gonna go. We're gonna watch the docuseries together, and then when it's done, we're gonna put the link in the chat, but you also have the link in your email, and we're going to hop over to Zoom. All right, and then when we get to Zoom, then I'm gonna be able to see you, because right now I can't see you and I don't like that. All right, so we're gonna get to Zoom and we're gonna talk and we're gonna chat and you're gonna, do all the things. We're gonna toast some champagne. I'll have my daughter Christy here with me so you can get to know her. And don't forget, we're going to be giving away 4 amazing prizes. All right. And so I think we're going to do the prizes at about 8:15 or 8:20. And you have to be present with us to win a prize. And there is this technological thing called Robo Raffle that Diana will do. And for everybody that's in the Zoom, it'll just automatically pick 4 people. All right. And so just as a reminder, the 4 prizes, we have a 90-minute coaching session with yours truly. And then we have $1,000 worth of a beautiful spa box so that you can have a spa night at home. And then we're going to give away a VIP ticket to Luann Live, which I have a little bit of information to tell you about later on tonight. So, and that is worth $24.95. And then we are also giving away 1 5-week course for Luann University, which is starting again May 1st. And that is a $21.95 value. So I am just so grateful that you're here with me tonight to do this, and I wanted to show my appreciation by sharing some little gifts and little knick-knacky things for you. All right, so here's the thing. I am going to 6:37. I'm going to drag this out for like another minute because we do have hundreds of people joining us, and you know how it is. It's the tech thing. Are you here? Can you get in? I've already gotten 3 text messages. I can't find the link. All the things. So we're going to give it another minute, and then we're going to start this premiere. I'm going to out the Vincenz right now. I'm going to out him right now. I asked him if he wanted to watch it with us here tonight, and he said no, because he didn't think he could hold it together. And it's because it's pretty cool. That's the thing. It is. It's pretty cool to see this community that we have built together, all of us, over the last 7 years. And the work of Jude Charles is incredible, and the way that he has crafted this story. He is the storyteller, right? So, all right. Are we ready? Is all of my tech people ready? Right? So we are going to, it is 6:38. I said I was going to drag it out for a minute, and I did. All righty. Are you ready? My goodness. All right.
She'd be getting up early in the morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock. I said, what are you doing? She goes, I'm working on an idea. She said to me, I think I want to start a podcast. And my very first question, Jude, was, what's a podcast?
We did 560 deposit when you and I met.
I really did get to that total appreciation moment for WindowWorks and what we created. And this is just, it's like a tree branch off of it. There's no question. If I didn't have the 35 years of doing business at WindowWorks, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I wouldn't have been able to have the conversations. I wouldn't have been the equal in all of the business conversations.
Luann's absolute strengths fit a podcast perfectly. She's highly intelligent. She asks a million questions about everything and always wanted to know. And I make a joke about it, but she talks in her sleep. So what perfect venue could there be than a podcast? The other thing that she has is a very basic balance of understanding life.
When you do achieve something, whatever it is, you gotta sit there and go, I did that. I did that. Okay, if I did that, I can do the next thing. It's almost like a fulfilling prophecy, right? It's like when you want your kid to always brush your teeth. When you catch them brushing their teeth, you're like, good job, you brushed your teeth, that's amazing, you know? And so they're like, the next day, they're like, I brushed my teeth, and you're like, yes, you did. And I feel like you gotta have that kind of conversation with yourself. I did that little thing, I could do another little thing. You have to sit in a space of knowing that you're worth whatever you can imagine. Like, I just feel like if you can imagine it, you've been given that little whisper, then go make it happen. I literally grew up always talking, always debating. I spent a period of time really believing anybody can grow up to be president. It's America. What do you know different, right? So I think I'm gonna be president, and I go to this new high school, and there's just signs everywhere. You know, join the Key Club, join the Future Business People of America, join the Ski Club. And I see the student government sign, and I'm like, oh. Well, that seems like the natural stepping stone to being president. Like, you gotta be directed here, Luann. You gotta make your dreams happen.
Come back to the beach if we don't leave it.
I go home that day, and I walk in the door, and it happened to be both my parents are sitting at the kitchen table, and I say, you know what? I'm gonna run for vice president of the freshman class. My mom, first answer, why vice president? Why not president? But literally, my dad starts going, don't fill her head. She shouldn't run for president, vice president, anything. And I'm like looking at him like, wait, what? They're going round and round, and I'm just sort of like, I'm really very surprised, because my mom is making good points, not just you can do it points, but other points. And I'm like at my dad, like, he wasn't all touchy-feely, and he wasn't like all like, you can do anything, like my mom, for sure. But he was never, you can't do it either. He said nothing as opposed to negative.
I never thought of her as a secretary or vice president. She needed to be the leader. I always thought of her as a leader. She was the boss of all the kids. We had 5 or 6 boy cousins her age and a brother. They all just did what she said. She started working for me when she was 8 in a food concession in the lake. And by the time she was 10 or 11, Luann, train those girls, would you please? Okay. And she did. They listened to her.
Finally, he looks at me and he goes, how many kids came from St. Pete's with you to go over to the high school? And I'm like, I don't know, just take a guess. 6, 7, 8. And he's like, there's easy 120 kids in this class. You know 6 or 7 of them. He goes, when's the election? It's next Tuesday. It forced me to think about, like what we say in business, our gaps. Like, where are the places that I'm not prepared to do this? Or where are the places I'm not the best person for this? And as a business person, you have to identify those. And when you do, you hire for those gaps, or you get training for those gaps, or you just do your own preparation, whatever it is. If my biggest obstacle was that I only knew 8 people, then I had like 4 days of school to meet 120 other people. I walked into school the next day and I mean legit, the geekiest, nerdiest person on the planet. And I literally, every person I saw in the hallway, I stopped them. I'm like, hey, are you in the freshman class? Are you in the freshman class? Are you in the freshman class? And if they said yes, I'm like, my name is Luann Schwartz and I am running for freshman class president. And if they said no, and I'd be like, do you have a brother or sister in the freshman class? Yes, I do. Well, you tell them about Luann Schwartz. The following Tuesday, I walk into my kitchen and my mom and dad are sitting there and I said, you are looking at the president of the freshman class. And my mom's like, yay. And my dad just looked at me like, what? It was very clear that I had an opportunity, if I had the courage, to mitigate the circumstance that my dad saw. It was better than not trying. Like I really wanted it. You can't say I want something and not work for it. You are involved in the craziness of our life. We are at our house in Barnegat Light in Long Beach Island.
I'm a huge family person. As often as we can to get the girls and their kids here, and of course their spouses. And what we're doing, in my mind, we're creating memories.
Life is busy at home for them and us. And so this makes time stop, which is fun.
It's fun, it's light, lively. You know, we have all the kids here. We just, our ball of energy, all of us.
I love her, and because she's so sweet to me and she brings me anywhere I go.
I appreciate what my parents have built, not only for myself, but for my daughter and for my family, that we can experience life.
I was also very aware that because they worked hard and they worked for themselves, that they were able to be there for everything for me. They could go to a show that I was putting on at school at 11 o'clock in the morning and not have to take a day off from work. They really balanced it out, I think, well with having fun and having it be such that they could show up when they wanted to and be there for all of us kids.
Vin and I both grew up coming to Long Beach Island, our own separate families, and so we always wanted to be here and we always enjoyed being here. He always wanted to have a house on the bay. That's what he wanted. And so we knew we're not gonna inherit $1 billion. We're not gonna just afford a house on the bay. So like 20 plus years ago, we're like, all right, let's get the little house so that we can start there. We can start enjoying the LBI and all the things. But the idea was have that house, flip that house, have that house, flip that house. And so it fulfilled it on both sides of him really wanting to have the house where he could see the bay, but both of us wanting to have the family around us while we do it.
I want to recall to you about a month ago, I did a podcast solo episode on goal setting, right? And I said, I sign off every podcast, decide to be excellent. Like you must make a decision to be excellent because it's hard every day to get up and do what you do as entrepreneurs. When I talked about it on the podcast a month or so ago, I related it to our goal setting. I related it to the business goal setting. This morning, I want to relate it to you as a human person.
I remember it was January 2nd, 2018, and I was taking my Christmas decorations down off of the porch, and I had heard about it. Somebody said, have you listened to this podcast? And I was like, not yet. So I turned it on, had my earbuds in, and I was like, whoa.
She's from the industry, she's done it, so she understands what designers go through, and her passion for what she's doing is just infectious.
Luann's, podcast just made the struggle real. It was just like, oh, people are talking about this. And she has very serious conversations on her podcast. I've heard designers share stories on her podcast that I'm not even sure I'd be comfortable sharing.
I love doing podcasts, especially when someone is interviewing you and they're asking you these kind of like off-the-cuff questions and they really want to know about you, your history, how you got started. I think, you know, designers want to hear that. They want to know if they're sitting in their living room, they have one project, like how do you get from there to here, right? So I think she asks really poignant questions that really help people say like, okay, this is realistic, I can relate to this, and I think that's important.
So the D, decide to be excellent. The D is design. Design your life, okay? When I talked about it last month, it was design your business. But now I want to ask you to design your life. What does your personal life look like? Who do you spend your time with? Who values you? Who do you value?
Luann is like the real deal. She's very down to earth. She's very humble. She's very real.
When I first researched her for the job interview, I was like, oh, she's like this straight-laced businesswoman. She is all business. And then you meet her and she's so real.
She's no nonsense, and that's what we need. I'm busy. I've got goals. I don't need hand-holding. I need clarity, connections, and that's what she's all about. She's not Mother Nature, she's Mother Network, and I'm so trademarking that for her. She's Mother Network. She's got the answers, and if she doesn't, she has the network of answers and family for you to be successful in any area and any niche of design, and honestly, far beyond that. It's just business development.
I niched into talking to interior designers about how to be profitable in their business because it was what I knew. I came from the window treatment industry, and our clients, in addition to retail clients, were interior designers.
I was wandering around going, I bet Luann's or Jamie's getting coffee this
I
morning.
actually did go down at 7 in sweatpants and no makeup, and I literally looked at the mirror in the elevator and I was like, this is a great look, Lou. This is a great look.
I saw myself in them. Clever person, go-getter, can make things happen. But 40 years ago, if I went into business by myself, I would have had a lot of the ingredients. I would have had the drive, I would have had the creative ideas for marketing, but I wouldn't have run it as a business the way my husband taught us to run a business. I would not have had the discipline to do that. And I would have been one of those people that I saw that are smart, are creative, have ideas, are great with clients, understand their product, their service, but would have been struggling to make it profitable because I wouldn't have locked down that back-end process. After 35 years of being in WindowWorks and now watching the designers coming through, it was like, oh, you're like me without a Vinny. So that's when I thought, well, I love to talk about business. But to launch a podcast about business would have been like, okay, 751,000 on the iTunes list. And so it's a natural fit to go to the design industry and really, have the conversation there.
I remember a situation. A designer called me up. We knew each other, we met at a couple events. She DM'd me on Instagram or some place. And she's like, I know this is really crazy, but can we talk for like 10 minutes? And I'm like, okay. Driving in the car, sure. And she gets on the line to explain to me that she had this really cool opportunity in her business. So she explains the idea to me, and I'm like, that sounds like a pretty solid idea, but it was expensive to do. I think it was about $50,000 or $60,000 to do. She's in business about 4 years, but I had already asked, what was your gross revenue? How much did you pay yourself last year? What's in the checkbook right now? Like all the things. And so I said, what's the problem? And she said, well, I really thought it was a good idea as well. She said, but you know what? I was talking with my husband about the idea, and he said to me, if you have $50,000 to spend on that, maybe we should invest that in the kids' college education. And I was just like, whoa, okay? Now, this is not her husband doesn't love her. This is not her husband doesn't support her. This is not her husband, is the boogeyman. This is, he's not in the business. And so the point of it is you have to have your go-to people. I've got like 5 or 6, and it's like one person for this, one person for that, one person for that you trust and and I call them inner circle people. You're all my inner circle people, right? You're my people. I love you. We know each other. But we're talking inner circle advisory board business, where you're going to tell me the truth. You're going to say, Luann, that is the craziest nut job idea you've had in a month. Put it in the drawer. Like, you're going to go to your people, and you're going to get support. So do not overlook that. Do you know all these ladies? Do you guys know who this is? He has the Design Biz Survival podcast.
Hi, guys.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Jessica, Lori, Marina. Yeah, so he's got a great podcast design too.
I love, love, love when I come across somebody who is living and working in their superpower, and I can feel and see and understand how expert they are at what they do. And then I'm talking with somebody who needs that skill, and I'm like, you gotta talk to her, you gotta talk to him.
I want you to meet Denise Pugh. Regan Jane, Denise Pugh. Did you see his new thing?
No, I didn't.
Yes. He's designed this.
What?
Yes.
When you're building a business, all businesses, the strength of them is the relationships. And relationships are nurtured, are continued through email and texting, but they're built in person. When you get a chance to have that eyeball contact with somebody, it's like you remember why you are in business with this particular sponsor. You're like, oh my God, that's right, this company is amazing. But then they remember why they're in business with you. They're like, oh yeah, that's that crazy lady, we like her, you know? And so it's intangible. It's been a really fun, exciting week, the last week or so in Orlando. I like being with everybody. You know, I like getting the energy from everybody. I love hearing the questions that they have and the challenges that they have, and just being in person.
I'm up in my hotel room and she's like, hey, any chance you want to have a drink?
I know you're in our hotel because
Yes.
you're supposed to speak to us tomorrow.
Yeah. And I was like, I shouldn't do this. But yeah, let's do it.
Give me a picture.
We were very calm though. We didn't go crazy.
Oh, we had fun.
You did.
I wanted to say hi because my friend Danny Tolino, bless his soul, always wanted us to meet. Wanted you to come to the center. So I had to say hi to you.
So how long have you guys been in business? How long are you in business?
20 years.
Wow.
Both for me.
Okay.
She builds with her husband. And she does amazing.
I do some design. Well, I do build design. I don't do furniture.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we are like cry on each other's shoulder. But like, what do you do about this?
Oh, so you have each other.
I shouldn't be surprised anymore, but it does surprise me, and it does touch me, and it does make me realize that there's a responsibility to each other as humans. A lot of people this week shared stories with me of some of the difficulties that they're going through, and not just in their business, but the way the difficulties in their business are almost exasperated and made harder because of things that happen in their personal life, like relationships, of getting support or not getting support. If somebody isn't supporting you and you have gotten away from it, that's one move. But then I've learned that so many people will get away from the toxic situation, but then that becomes part of who they are going forward. It's always, well, if that hadn't happened, I would be so much further in my business, or nobody taught me how to do that, so I don't know how to do it, or I don't have the support. And that's the part where I'm like, no, everybody has a story. Some are better, some are worse. You might think the things that happen in my life would be unbearable for you to handle. I don't know what your threshold is for things, but it becomes a part where this is your now. What are you going to do with your now? I'm sorry you had to wait for all that. I did not expect that. That's the first time he's ever wrote me into that meeting.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, usually him and the guys do it.
It's okay.
Okay. like insanity. Okay.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling, I rarely consciously build in downtime. I just don't often need it. I can power through.
How are you? So good to see you. This is Joe Charles. Hi, good to meet you. Jenny teaches at Lou University. Yes.
And the thing is, I'm an extrovert, so as soon as there's something to do, I want to do it.
I have to say, you were one of the first people that encouraged me to start my own business, and I've never looked back.
You know Don?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just met him.
Yeah,
we just had.
He's been on the show.
I love your stuff.
Oh, thank you. We'll have to get you on the show. How many years are you in business?
Just turned 3.
Nice.
Just turned 3. Yeah.
Are you making money?
I am making money.
You are.
Yeah.
Love
Thank
it.
you so much. I love your podcast. I listen to it like every day.
I started the new podcast this week, Window Treatments for Profit.
How exciting.
Yes, and so Hartman and Forbes might want to reach their target audience right there. Yes, yeah. I have an unusually high capacity for risk, for activity, for all of it. But when it's a 10-day trip like this, there should have been some downtime built in.
Good afternoon, full house. Great to see everybody back here at Market in person. If it's your first time to Universal, thank you for coming. There's a ton to see. We're excited to have Sandra Funk back. She's always just has so many great insights to share. And again, we're so happy to have you all here. So Sandra, take it away.
Yay, you guys. Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. It has my heart going pitter-patter, and I hope it slows down so that I can actually talk without shaking.
So we are at the International Home Furnishings Market in High Point, North Carolina, and it's also called Disneyland for Interior Designers.
I am Sandra Funk. We're going to do the 6 pillars to building a 7-figure luxury design firm, and I'm going to pull back the curtain on how I bootstrapped my firm from an idea I had in my basement to a boutique luxury firm with incredible clients and an incredible team.
The other part about High Point is the education and the business tracks. So there's always lots of panel discussions and presentations, trying to assist interior designers in every which way they can to just round out their business knowledge.
So I worked for other people for about 5 years and then started my own firm, House of Funk, in 2005. Of course, I'm a real human. I have family and dogs and husband and, you know, a whole life besides all of that, and I was just trying to keep all the plates spinning, right? Just run around like a crazy person, and it was exhausting, honestly.
I showed up to High Point because there are 2 reasons. One is the personal fun, and the other is the business side, right? So the personal fun, there's no question. You know, you wait 6 months to see your friends.
Luann and I hit it off. So our pre-call went like an hour and a half. We didn't record, but I was like, I love you. She's like, I love you too. I'm like, girl, we got to talk more. Let's do a mastermind. But we, you know, became industry friends and somebody who really have mutual respect for each other.
You want to see them and you want to have fun with them and you want to spend time with them and you want to support them when they're doing their things. How many times, you know, when I would do a presentation, I'd be like, is anybody going to come? Like, oh my gosh. And then the seats fill up and you see the faces and they smile at you and you're like, yes. And so I wanted to make sure that I do that for the people that I've come to learn and love and respect through the podcast over the years.
And then I hit my business rock bottom. You may see Lou here in the audience, one of my greatest mentors. She knows because she was with me. But I'll tell you more about how that went down, but it involves me in a small ball under my desk, just totally like bottom. Like I'm out or I'm gonna fix this.
You know, there is a lot of business that happens here. Interior designers come and they get to find out about new vendors. They get to meet the representatives from companies that they've been ordering through and create relationships with the representatives and the owners of the companies. They also get to sit test, is what the designers call it, for the different furniture that they want to go back and sell to their clients. And they get to look at the different categories, you know, low, middle, high, so that when they're putting their projects together, they can really know what the quality of the furniture is. You can get 100,000 interior designers from all over the world descending for this like truncated 6 or 7 day period. And that's why it's called Disneyland for interior designers. It's a very special experience being here with people that you look forward to seeing twice a year.
We were introduced to Luann from IDS, so Interior Design Society, and they let me know like, hey, listen, there's this podcaster I really like for you guys to listen to, and we would like to do an event in your showroom. We often do events with interior designers because that's our way of knowing what it is that they want. We listened to a couple of episodes before, and it was automatic. You know, some people have it as background. And her podcast isn't the type of podcast you listen to. I want to have my attention. I want you to have my full attention when I'm listening to that podcast. And that's what we loved about it. And then to see it in person, we had the event here and it was the biggest event that we've had in our showroom. People were spilled out. We did not have enough chairs. We did not have enough standing space for it. And the way that they were hanging on her every word, like we were so impressed with it. To see how the same people that listen to her podcast and to see how it translates so well in person, that's also a gift as well. So everyone's not able to captivate people in that way, and she was able to do that. And that's something that you can't deny seeing right away.
Luckett is an amazing business mind. Some people are a sucker for blue eyes or big butts or whatever. I'm a sucker for a smart brain. It's like, if you have a smart brain, I like, ah! I remember when first time we interviewed her on the show, she talked about her Project 36.
So I made the decision and then I put a time frame on it. Because I know me, I'm extremely goal oriented. I want to check it off the list. So I said, what is realistic for me to feel confident, for me to feel like I've got enough experience, where I've established a brand presence, a demand, all of those things. And I said, I think 36 months from today. 3 years. So I literally gave it a title. I called it Project 36. Wow. It was like code for I'm breaking out of this corporate jungle.
I love it. She went to a design conference when she was still working full-time in corporate because she knew she wanted to be an interior designer. And so here she was gathering information and learning and understanding the business and the industry. And then she created Project 36, which was a 36-month plan for stepping across from her successful corporate career. She wasn't just phoning it in. She was highly successful, very high on the ladder. But how am I gonna step across? And when she laid that thing out, I was like, that is a heck of a smart lady. But this was the thing about Cheryl's brilliance. It wasn't like, okay, now I'm in business. Then she planned out the next year. What am I gonna accomplish in this year? What are my goals? I would like to have a product line. I would like to design furniture. I want this many clients in a pipeline. I want this, amount of gross revenue. And 2 years later, she had her first furniture line. Another 2 years later, she has another line. I always say you have to be prepared to be lucky. So you have to do lots of things so that all of a sudden it's lucky, but it's not really luck, right? It's doing all those things and then the serendipity of the relationships you've created or some random thing that you've said that caught somebody's ear or eye or something like that. I just admire how intentional she is, and of course the furniture and the product that she just created for Wildwood it's stunning. I mean, it's stunning, and I'm just so happy for her.
The very first time that I ever spoke with you, it just really struck me. You were literally, like you just said, it was like intentional planning. We're not throwing spaghetti at a wall. We're not going to see if it works. Nope. Planning it all out and watching your career from 2016 till now, 2022, you just keep reaching new heights and you just keep setting new bars and hopping over them. And now tell us about this collection with Wildwood.
So I literally remember coming to market the first time in April 2015, walking through these doors
and feeling completely overwhelmed and intimidated and, you know, thinking, oh, well, maybe one day I'll get to source these lamps for my clients.
You'll get to source them.
I'll get to source these lamps for my clients. And, you know, this was totally aspirational at that point. But, you know, one thing led to another, and then I became a customer, and then I became one of their kind of influencers. And one day I posted on social media about the power of lighting and how when I was a kid, I used to be tasked with cleaning the living room, and I would turn off all the overhead lights and turn on the lamps. And even as a kid, I knew that made it feel warm and cozy. And that resonated with them. They were following me on social media. And so they reached out and they said, you know, we were trying to figure out some designers that we could collaborate with. And they said, we'd love for you to do a collection. And I'm like, wait, what? End of Project 36 was December 31st, 2016. And it's just surreal. This is so surreal to be standing here with my name on the windows at Wildwood. You know, several years after that, it's crazy.
I remember thinking, there are two ways to do that. You can just jump, or you can plan. And you have to know who you are, what your tolerance is. And it was funny because Nate Berkus was on the show, was miserable where he was working, couldn't stand it, was dragging himself in every single week. And finally, he said to us on the show, he said, you know what? I'm making $750 a week here. All I have to do is make $750 a week. It can't be worse than this. So he literally quit and went into business the next day. And that's another layer of Cheryl's brilliance, is she understood who she was. Look, 800 interviews. And I do a lot of talking with them off air, before and after, and then I meet them in real life at High Point or whatever it might be. And there's two things that happen in the conversations. One is somebody is literally teaching me something, and I'm like, whoa. I'm in business 40 years and I just learned something, and that is so cool. And then other things are where somebody's teaching something and I'm remembering when we learned that lesson at Window Works, you know, and I'm like, yeah, that was a hard one.
It's really about the guests she brings on the show. As somebody who needs to stay connected to the industry at a higher level, I listen to it so I know what she finds important in the industry by which guests she's bringing on.
Part of the secret sauce of the show is that having that perspective of actually having run a business. And so when somebody says something and maybe they're teaching us something, all right, I get it. Like, we're just gonna do A plus B equals C. But getting that B into the A is not so easy.
The way that Luann asked the questions and the way that she asked people to maybe reform their answer, like to go back and say, can we just rewind a little bit here? Because she understands that the audience may not be at the level of what the person is talking about.
It's like an algebra problem. It's like x, y to the second, this and that and the other thing. And it's like, and then it equals this. And when you've learned how to do algebra, you're like, but it's not that easy. It takes like 90,000 semesters of F's in algebra before you can do that. And what happens is always the guest that's teaching it will then remember the pain. And they're like, yeah, no, right. No, it was a lot to get from A to B. So, and I go, okay, so talk to me about that getting in between the A and B, because I know C is our answer, but what's that like?
I am in an airport with Luann. We are leaving my first ever speaking engagement in the design industry that Luann invited me to be a part of. And I got a phone call from a client, and it was the third client in 3 weeks that told me that they were canceling the contract, that they didn't want to work with me anymore.
Well, initially when I opened the company for business, I thought that by putting it out on the website, on the internet, putting my name out there as far as, hoping for word of mouth business to kind of come in, that the doors would just open and I would just become known, and that the work would just come raining down from heaven in copious amounts of opportunity, but that's just not what the universe had in mind.
So I turned to Lou and I started to tell her, this project just fell apart, here's what's going on, and I was devastated. And Lou, being Lou, said to me, well, if it was one project, I could imagine, that we could just sit here and kind of say, can you believe them? But we're talking 3 projects in as much, in 3 weeks. I think you gotta look at what's happening in your firm that's making them fall away? My face first went, and then it was like, oh, you know, it's like that moment, like your first reaction is like, no, it's not me, it's them. And it was like, no, it's definitely not them. And like I said, they had been telling me what was wrong, but I didn't know a better way.
I had to knock on doors, like literally knock on 779 doors to find my first client. You know, bruises and cuts later, I am here and it all worked out. So I learned a great lesson.
I've gotten as much or more. And that's the cool thing. Like I said, I learn something every show. This is the truth. It wouldn't work if it weren't both ways. If I wasn't being impacted, I would be bored of it. And if the impact wasn't going out, nobody would listen anymore. I'd be in a closet going, this is great. Everybody would be like, not really. You know what I mean? So I love it.
Hi, my name is Luann Nigara. How are you guys? Good morning. How is everybody? My husband, myself, and our cousin Bill have owned Window Works for 40 years this year. It's a custom window treatment awning retailer in New Jersey. And in the last 6 years, I've started a podcast, A Well-Designed Business, where I teach creatives, particularly interior designers, how to be more profitable and more efficient. We just launched a new podcast this week, Window Treatments for Profit, which is now going to do the same thing for window treatment professionals. So all of that is just to say, I've been around the block a few times. I've had a few negotiations and they haven't all been with my husband. Some have actually been with customers, okay? However, that is the best practice for negotiation. And I'll tell you why, because that's someone that I love very much. So when I'm negotiating with my husband, I am focused on the win-win. And this is one of the real keys of negotiation, is focusing on the win-win.
IWCE, International Window Covering Expo, going on 4 decades by Grace McNamara. Now her daughter Anya is in the business with her as well. And it is the #1 premier window covering expo. It is like, you know, the high point for the window treatment industry, and tons of vendors, tons of education tracks, and then we go right into our Exciting Windows Conference. So the Exciting Windows Conference always banks up to that because all the window treatment people are in, and that is our company, Exciting Windows, that we have 2 other partners with, Vinny and I, and in that company we teach window treatment professionals to be more efficient and more profitable. And we meet twice a year as a group and we do the same thing, education tracks and speakers and just being with our friends again and hanging out with them at dinners and bars and, you know, all the things.
What's your one takeaway after High Point, after IWCE, after Exciting Windows? What's your takeaway? What do you go home with?
Well, I have a personal takeaway that I am not invincible and not without an endless reserve of energy, which I think previously I thought I might have been. Honestly, I think that is actually an important takeaway for me to understand. Beyond that, when I think about the whole last 10 days, it's not a new one, but it is just the consistent reminder that everything happens from relationships. It really does.
Just like a plant flourishes by nature of, you know, receiving proper sunlight and water, I think that the relationship between Luann and I has grown and flourished because we both were putting in equal effort to sustain the relationship. Partnering with her, whether it be on speaking engagements or her Luann Live program, she was always very kind about, you know, reciprocity and giving back to me, whether it be promoting my new book or introducing me to people that she knew I would love to work with and partner with. And yet it didn't feel gimmicky or, you know, gotcha. It felt very authentic, which I think speaks to, you know, her personality. So I think in that way, it flourished in a very effortless way. And that's the best kind of co-creator relationship.
It is, you know, the relationships with the different sponsors that I have.
So I can honestly say that had it not been for her help and the exposure that she's allowed us, that our business would not be growing the way it is today. She has single-handedly made the difference for us.
Our industry is one that is all about relating to people. Designers spend their lives making people happier, creating better environments for them, and constantly communicating with people. And we look for that in a partner too.
And then the relationships with the podcast listeners and the guests of the podcast, and then to come to the IWCE, and it's the same thing. It's, you know, a different crew of relationships here with Grace and Anya. I learned a lot about business. There's always something that I take away. That's why after 800 plus interviews, I'm not bored, because I'm happy to learn one thing. But I think when I sit and reflect on it, it is the relationship, and it's the relationship with me and Vin too, because we're like just in this thing together, and we're like two ships running around doing all the things, and then every once in a while he'll just look over at me and he'll be like, this is a pretty cool thing, and I'm like, it is, you know, and then he'll, you know, that was good what you did, and I'm like, that was good what you did, you know, and it's fun. In one of the Facebook groups for podcasters, it said, pick one reason why you think your podcast is successful. And I said, because I started it knowing it was a business, and I treated it as a business every single day. I'm always saying, okay, how do we do this? And right, we're doing it for 5 people now. How would we do it for 55 people? How would we do it for 5,500 people? How would we do it for 50,000 people? Let's build the system that supports where this is going to be, not where it is.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. All right, Kim.
About 3 weeks ago, we hit 5 million downloads, and I had been watching for it. And what was so funny was, it's a Saturday, and I'm doing the X amount of days of the month divided by the total downloads, time the days of the month. I should hit it on this day. I should hit it on this day. But the day kept backing up because the downloads kept growing. And I kept saying, well, we're not going to hit it on Friday. We're going to hit it on Thursday. And we're going to hit it on Wednesday. And then I remembered I was podcasting all day on Tuesday. And I knew that this was the day we potentially should hit it. And so I randomly was checking my phone during the day. And there it was. It was like 5:30 at night. It was like 5,000,000 like 7. And I was like, what is going on here? So I don't know. It's funny. It's just watching. It's like when you teach your kid to ride a bike and they're like riding and they fall. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, it's happening. And that's what it feels like. It feels like it's happening.
First of all, I congratulate you on coming to this, because this is going to be an amazing day. You are going to learn things today. You are going to share things today. You are going to impact someone else's life today. Okay, and that's going to be super cool and super fun for you. This is a room of high-achieving men and women. Several of you have been to Power Talk Friday events before, and we have a different format for this event. In previous Power Talk Fridays, it's full-on presentation by one of the experts, full-on presentation, lunch, and then roundtable. This is going to be much more collaborative, much more like a high-level mastermind because of the brain trust of you guys. There are no quote-unquote newbie designers here.
So I've been to, I think, all but 2 Power Talk Fridays, and each time I keep coming and taking away different things. But this one was different. This Power Talk Friday is aimed at 7-figure plus firms.
Sometimes I really need to be with smarter people in the room, and because there were smart people in this room, you're just learning from those nuggets from other people just like you.
I am always shocked that people have the same struggles as me who I idolize. You know, and it's so, because I always feel like they have it all together, and they're going to help me because they're there and they're not going through any of the things I'm going through. And to hear us all have the same struggles and pain points and growth, it's reassuring that You know, it's one thing at a time. You know, you're not going to build it in a day.
As a lot of us creative entrepreneurs have, about 700 different roads that I am totally going to go down, and then I have to like pull my brakes and be like, okay, but which one makes the most sense and why, and how does it fit with my why and my lifestyle goals?
Power Talk Friday is very special for several reasons. One of the reasons is that you come in with a business challenge and you've got a brain trust of people in the room between myself and my experts and your peers. So it's very powerful because it's unlikely that you won't leave with a really specific thing to put into action in your business to change and propel your business. Almost always, someone learns something about their business that's a hard thing to learn.
You're enjoying a good lifestyle, so you're consciously ignoring that you are not running it at a profitable business level. That's a thing. It's like if your mom gives you $10 allowance every week and you only spend $2, you're rich.
When it's you, it's tough. But I know that it happens at every event. And so we're prepared for it, and we come to it with love and acceptance. Unless you keep butting me, then you're going to get a problem. There was a particular situation with Michelle. Michelle's very, very successful. She runs an amazing business. Her work is fantastic, but she had an aha lesson that kind of took her knees out a little bit. And what I loved about Michelle was that she was strong enough in herself to keep hearing the lesson and not crumble, but just keep going, really? And how? Why? But she was rocked a little bit, right? But rocked like a CEO, right? A CEO doesn't fall down, right? So I'm gonna give Michelle the cred there and the props there. I do know, because she came up and said to me, this is crazy. This is crazy. Like, this is huge, this gap I have. I'm like, it is huge, but guess what? You're gonna fix it now. You're gonna leave and you have a plan. And she's like, I do. Well, the crazy part is that we come to the dinner that night, the celebration dinner, where I ask everyone to share an aha moment, a moment of gratitude, recognition for some conversation or something they learned in the room from any other person in the room. And Megan Moulton, who, I mean, this little lady, she's another podcast poster girl. She started her business 5 years ago and went from 0 to a gabillion, has multiple revenue streams, is killing it in every stretch of the imagination. At the celebration dinner, Megan Moulton looks over at Michelle and says, Michelle, I want to share with you. And at that moment, Michelle just literally knew exactly what Megan was going to say.
I don't know if you remember this, but my first...
You're not, oh my God, really?
My first market...
Really? Oh shit, okay. No. Oh my God. Shit, really? You for doing, oh my God.
But they had spent 8 hours together, granted not at the same table, but 8 hours together, and Michelle had not made the connection.
It was my first market, October 2017. I was working my full-time job.
It seems like so much longer.
And I came
oh my
to
God,
market.
that's hysterical. How funny is that you would meet the same person?
That's crazy.
That's crazy. And so you were so helpful. You were so cute about it too. You were really helping.
I met you and you inspired me. You were so giving, and I was so wanting to learn.
Oh my God.
You told me about your business and how successful you were, and I'll never forget. I said, one day I want to be as successful as her.
And here Megan recounted to her that she had met Michelle at her very first high point in 2017 and found herself sitting next to her and started to ask her a question about running an interior design business. And Michelle shared her heart with her. She sat there and she spoke to her and gave her tips and gave her advice. And Megan said, I have recounted the advice that you shared with me and the inspiration you gave with me, and I have looked up to you for the last 5 years. It was like a full circle moment. And what I loved about it was because it was one thing for me, for Vinny, for Eileen, for Jennifer, to say to Michelle, It's okay to have a rock your knees aha moment. That's what you come here for. If you walk in the door and you knew everything, what was the point of being here? And then for her to be the one person in the room that this rock star is like, you impacted my business, was, I just thought, such a great gift of the universe. And it was so amazing.
I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe that. That is bizarre. That is so amazing.
Happy birthday, dear Luann. Happy birthday to you.
You hear about people that have tremendous energy, right? That can, whether we run miles or swim miles or do all these things. But what about the mental, emotional, spiritual energy to show up for someone? And we all get tired at some point. Whether introverts or extroverts, we get tired. But for her ability to focus, regardless of energy level, to the human being is tremendous.
There's other podcasts, there's other coaches, there's other people in this industry who can talk the talk and walk the walk, but there's just a different delivery with Luann. And even when she summarizes the other presenters' work, it's just a different delivery. And she gets us, and she gets where we're at and what we need to hear.
I'm a loyal listener, and you've been messaging me. I've had a few questions along the way, and always impressed that you would message me back.
Oh, don't be silly, of course.
I was in federal government for 10 years and hated it, and started listening to your podcast and completely changed my life. And
That's
now I work
awesome.
for
Where
a
are you
design
out of?
build. Tacoma, Seattle area.
You inspire us so much.
Oh, that's
we
awesome.
Work together
Oh,
and,
that's great.
Just listening to you, and especially when your husband was on, got so much out of it.
Next. Oh, Nagara.
Thanks so much. They want a picture.
He said, can we get a picture with both of you?
Yeah, power couples over there.
All right. Double power couple.
Her and her husband in that groove and just doing what they do together, their energy together.
A lot of people have said, how do you work with your wife all day? And for me personally, it's exhilarating. Matter of fact, once the podcast took off and she diverted a lot of her time to the podcast, I miss not having seen her every day.
It's something that I feel like we all want. We all want what she's got in whether it's success or just the way she holds herself, and I think that's what makes her attractive to us. She's approachable.
First of all, this is amazing. Thank you so much for coming to this birthday party. I'm absolutely honored and thrilled and excited and all the things for you to be here. Jake War Living, seriously, for them and my Doma Studio to plan this and do this is incredible. So here's the thing, I'm 60.
No way!
We were talking the other day, and Vinny happened to say to me, how old's your mom gonna be this year? And I'm like, she's gonna be 80. I'm like, how is that possible? She's 60. I can't be 60, she's 60, and I'm 40. Stop all this. When it came time to do the podcast, I had been listening to podcasts for several years, in 2006. And I was on a podcast all of a sudden. It was a weird thing. It was on Harrow. Anybody heard of Harrow? Help a Reporter Out. And I was like, that's interesting. They want to talk to somebody about entrepreneurship. And the second I clicked off on the Skype, I was like, oh, sweet Jesus, I need one of those. I need me a podcast. That was cool. And I was like, I wonder how you do a podcast. And so I spent the next 3 months devouring every single piece of content I could on how to podcast. Books, YouTube, other podcasts, all of the things. And I also started coming up with the business plan for it because I wasn't interested in a hobby. I had hobbies. I went to yoga back in the day, went to yoga, swam laps, ran half marathons and tries. I did all those. That was my fun. So this podcast was not going to be for fun. I surely expected it, and it has been fun. But I wanted it to be a business. Finally, it's October, and I'm like, I'm ready. I've got my plan. I'm ready. So I said to him, this weekend when we're at the beach, I'd like about an hour of your time, undivided. And he goes, we're at the beach by ourselves all weekend, every weekend. I'm like, no, actually, eyeball to eyeball. So we sit down, and then I proceeded to run him through. And he's like grilling me, and how about this, and what about that, and how are you going to do this, and how are you going to do that? And I had my answers. I was ready. And at the end of it, he looks at me, and he's like, this makes sense. I think this makes sense. And I'm like, it makes sense, right? I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? He's like, I think it does. I'm like, okay. He's like, so we're doing it? I'm like, so we're doing it? He's like, so we're doing it. And we did it, didn't we? With your help, right? And then I will tell you, the final defining moment is this space right here. It's these faces. It's your faces looking at me. It's every time I walk into Market, into KBIS, into wherever I go, and you stop me. And I wear green so you can know it's me. I do. It's on purpose. But I love it. I love that we have become friends. I love that I recognize you, and I love that I know who you are, and I feel like that you know who I am. And this community that we have created together, it is an amazing moment in time and space to be part of and to share with you guys. I just thank you. Just thank you. Just thank you to all of you, the faces that I see here. Vincenz for believing in the crazy plan and for being on board when, here's the other thing, it's just like everything else. You look at somebody's business on Instagram and you think what it is. You think that designer has got it easy and it's just all this and it just all worked out and all the things. It takes money and time. It's working now, all of the revenue streams that were on that list. But there was 2 years of investing. I have people come up to me and say, I'm not sure, should I invest $2,000 in this course or in that coach or whatever? The answer is yes. Yes. You can't grow your business without having somebody next to you that knows a little more than you do. Where would I be if I hadn't invested in Nicole Heimer as creative director of Luann Niagara Inc.? Where would I be? The whole thing it took 4 years till I found Diana. Diana would have fixed it if I had screwed it up for 4 years, I promise you. She would have made us look pretty again. But this woman out the gate had me looking professional and being professional. I don't have that superpower. So if you don't have the superpower for finance, or you don't have the superpower to build a website, or you don't have the superpower for rendering, go get a professional. Invest in it and do it. Takes money to make money, right? And it's time or money, right? We say on the show all the time, time or money. At that point in my life, we were spending money to make it happen. But anyway, so I just thank you, Vinny. Honestly, thank you, because this has been...
I am one of those people that shares your name with everybody I meet here.
Thank you.
Everyone that I meet, have you heard of Luann? Have you heard of Luann? The reason is, I've been in business since 2004. I've been making a modest income. In 2017, I connected with your podcast, and I quadrupled my income. I have some confidence now. I thought I did before, but now I really do. I think it just sort of, beams out of me. I'm a different person. And honestly, it's because of you, and I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
I met you in February of 2020.
Okay.
At the Merchandise Mart at Wendy Cohen's Powerhouse Smart event.
Oh, yeah.
Where you were the keynote
This high,
speaker.
people
Where you
wanting
were the
to
keynote
listen.
speaker.
Yep.
And you sat down next to me and you said, "Are you making money?"
You kind of get right to it.
And I said, I'm working on it, and I'm happy to say, yes, I have the same thing to say that you just said. We are double over double over double year after year in Chicago and Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and you inspire me.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
I know this is my space. This is where I love to be. I love the relationship with all of the people I make. I can be in a room with 200 people and I feel like I could at least name half of them. I mean, when we did Luann Live in 2019, there were 250 people in the room, and I think there were 3 people that when I called them over the course of 2.5 days, that I wasn't 100% sure of their first name before they started talking. And so for me, to be able to do what I really love doing, but feel like I'm actually doing it with a live human, not just a quote unquote audience, that is like icing on the cake all day. Does that mean that every day's a great day? It's still a job. You're still having challenges. But I mean, I have the best husband on the planet. I have great kids. We've had a beautiful team at Window Works all through the years, all the people that have worked for us. You know, I'm a glass is half full girl. Like, I'm looking for the good moment in everything I do. I thought I loved doing Window Works. I did love doing Window Works. I've had my love affair with it on and off over the years. Any entrepreneur that builds a business for 40 years is going to have to say that truthfully, right? But I did love doing it. I love sales. I love my relationships with interior designers that we worked on project after project. And I knew there were parts of it that were really hard to have to buckle down and pay attention to 1/16 of an inch and, you know, how many yards and change it and all that. But you know what it was? I think I just always assumed that there was always a part of your job that's going to be hard. So put your big girl panties on and do it. And it wasn't until I pivoted into this and I started to build this company that I was like, oh, there's nothing that's hard. There's nothing that I don't feel like doing. It's like mind-blowing. I mean, all of it I like to do, and that's really cool. I was ready to talk and then I wasn't ready to talk. That was pretty cool, wasn't it? That's so funny because I've been completely fine. And now all of a sudden I'm like a puddle of mud. How fun was that? I mean, how fun was that, right? This is I don't have my mic. Okay. How fun was that? I feel like Saturday Night Live. I'm all verklempt. Okay, so thank you so much for watching that with me. Loved seeing all the comments in the chat. As typical, I had my own technical difficulties and couldn't get into the chat, so yay, Luann. But how fun, all the stories, all of the times that we've shared together. And Jude is a master. So here's the thing, come on over to the Zoom. I think that we've probably put the link in the chat by now. If not, you have the link that came to you in your email. Come over to the Zoom because in the Zoom, we're gonna be able to see each other. And I want to be able to talk with you about it, your reactions. I want to be able to share Jude with you, and so that you can love on him a little bit for this masterpiece of work that he's done. And we are going to give away the prizes, and we're going to talk a little bit about Luann Live. All right, so are we ready to go? I'm looking at my director over there. All right, we're going to see you over there in just a few minutes. So I can't hear Jude. He's muted. Okay. Okay. So
No, you should. Can you hear me
first of
now?
all, Mr. Jude Charles, I got to raise a glass, buddy. Cheers. Cheers over there. Our Diana is like being the director, like extraordinaire right now. And wait, is everybody here? Is everybody here? How
Is your volume up? Can you hear you?
I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, Lordy.
I can hear you. You probably can't hear me though.
We can
Okay.
hear you now, Jude.
Okay, so
Oh, okay, got it. Cool.
all right.
It's bad luck not to sit back.
Oh, it's bad luck not to sip, she said. Oh my goodness. How fun was that? How fun was that? Okay, so here's the thing. First, I want to say, everybody, thank you for coming today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to tell the Vincenz, who's at home watching, thank you for all the things, Vincenz, all the things. Just going to leave it at that. All the things, all right? To my kids.
Yes.
To my kids who are watching, to my grandbabies. Really, a well-designed business comes from a well-designed life. And having all of your people is important. And so thank you to all of my people. I do have to say thank you to Diana, to Mariali, to Nicole Heimer, Gloria and Brand, and to Stephanie Hamilton from Hamilton Creatives. This just looked like fun, didn't it? But it was a lot. It was a lot to make this happen and to do all the things. And Diana's still over there making things happen. So
she's not laughing.
I know she's not laughing. She's not drinking. She's not drinking. Hello, drinking. Although she's having a little baby, so we're drinking non-alcoholic champagne because we don't do those things to our mamas, right? Okay, and then I want to definitely acknowledge the sponsors, right? So we have Kravit from the very beginning. We have My Doma Studio from a minute after the beginning. We have Revel Woods, and we have all of the other sponsors that have been on the journey all the way through the years, in and out. And then the support from organizations like IDS and WCAA and ASID and Exciting Windows. So it's a lot of people to thank, and it's all of you guys that you were in the movie and all of the people that are here with us. So thank you, truly. All right, now here's the thing. We have the man of the hour here, Mr. Jude Charles. Now, time out. Before I get to you, you know what I'm going to forget. So here's the thing. As an aside, just because I want you to know, and I was going to say it at the end, but I know I'm going to forget. So Luann Live is happening. Luann Live is happening in person, in real life, okay? It is definitely happening November 5th to 8th in Orlando, Florida, this calendar year. Now, if you listen to all the shows, you've probably heard me say things like that a lot in the last year or two. Oh, it's definitely happening in March. It's definitely happening here. And no. We signed the contract. It's definitely happening. All right. And I am doing this Luann Live with my buddy here, my Christy, my little T, who is the podcast host for Sass Says. And here is what Luann Live is this year. It is health and wealth, a well-designed business within a well-designed life. And that is going to be the theme. And Christy is going to be bringing some of the people from her audience and her guests talking about health issues, right? Like the things that we have to do to be, to like do what we do to be entrepreneurs. I mean, let's be serious. It's not easy. And so, in that one clip, you saw me and we were at Michelle Weeby's beautiful studio, Studio M, oh my goodness, in Tampa, Clearwater, some one of those places, Tampa, I think it was. And we were talking about that, about how you need to have a well-designed life in order to support and create a well-designed business. And so this Luann Live, we're going to work a lot of that in and out. So we're going to boot camp your business, but we're going to make sure that you leave supported with some tools and strategies in order to keep your life feeling great too. So I wanted to make sure that I told you about that because we're going to get going on our party here and then I'm going to forget. Okay, now to the man of the hour. Dude, come on. How cool was that? I mean, watching yourself do your work, right?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to share it too with his audience. I think seeing it again has been pretty exciting, right? And to see the chat, to see what people had to say as they're watching it, I think any creative, like, you get nervous when other people are finally viewing your work, and it's amazing to see what everyone took away from it. So yeah, definitely thank you, Luann, for trusting me. I always say trusting me with your vision, with my vision. You trusted me to tell your story, and so thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, we talk about that on the show all the time. Let's get Christy in the camera a little bit better. There we go. Yeah. I want to move closer to her, but that's not going to work, is it?
This way.
Okay. All right.
You have to go that way.
I have to go this way?
This way.
Oh,
There
feels
you
like
go.
I have to go.
There you go. It's opposite of what you think it is.
This should be fun at Luann Live. We're going to absolutely ridiculous. That's what it's going to be. Okay, no. We talk about that on the show all the time, that when you hire a professional, and if they tell you to do something, you sit down and do it, right? And that's just what happened. You just led me around like, okay, stand here, talk here, do this, blah, blah, blah. And I said it to you in our Instagram Live yesterday. I said that I couldn't believe how
Got really deep in understanding you and your story, and then once we got to High Point and we got to IWC in Fort Lauderdale and then Jersey, like, it's just a matter of picking the right things to tell the right story. And so yeah, it's like editing. I think we talked about that on the podcast. It's like editing for interior designers. You choose what stays, what goes in order to make the story work, to make the design flow. And so yeah, that's what I was able to do. And there's definitely a lot that was left on the cutting room floor, but I more than anything, I wanted to inspire other interior designers to be able to tell their stories too. To I always go back to Megan and Michelle, and to see that inspiring story, like, it is just, it's amazing.
that was crazy. They were together all day. And Michelle didn't realize, right? Neither, I think. I don't even know if Megan realized it till later in the day, but that was an amazing full circle story to see Megan's just express to Michelle how she's been this inspiration to her for 5 years, but from afar, like silently, right? It's like, not like, you're collaborating every week and checking in and that you're impacting somebody, but to have her words that she said to her when she was a beginning new designer, to always be able to replay them, it was pretty cool, pretty cool. Look at Jennifer. Jennifer is in the chat saying, love Michelle and Megan, because she was there with us, for that moment. It was fun. So Mr. Charles, you said something yesterday in the Instagram that you were like, I'm not going to tell until tomorrow.
You held me to that. Okay.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is I'm such a numbnuts. I can't even remember what it was that I'm waiting to hear. I just know I'm waiting to hear something.
All right. So we talked about leadership, and I want to do two things. I didn't know you would hold me to this. So I want to tell two different stories. Okay. The first I'm going to tell is a story that I told at road mapping. I went to Spokane, Washington in 2014. Okay, I can't tell that story now. But the second story, gosh, you got me, Luann. The second story.
Well, you got all of us for the last hour, so it's only fair.
I won't tell stories. So what I wanted to encourage interior designers with today, and what I talked about that was a challenge, is that in 2020, I burnt out in my career. And what came with that was depression and anxiety. And so burnout, I officially came out of burnout in 2022, but the depression lingered. And what I mentioned yesterday on the Instagram Live is that it was challenging to produce the documentary because I was still very much in depression and still going through that. And so, but we talked about leadership and like how I had a team and they, you know, they were very attentive. They knew what was going on very much behind the scenes, and we were able to create the magic that we created. And so I thank you for that. Because 2022 was a very tough year for me, but we made magic. We were able to make something beautiful together, and to see, it truly means a lot to see the audience be able to take all this in. And I did not expect for you to hold me to that. Because even when I said it on the Instagram Live, I was just like, oh, why did I say that? Because I knew it would be difficult to tell that story. But yeah, as a creative, again, I want to encourage others that I know it's hard sometimes to do the work that we do. We love it so much. We're passionate about it. But you can do it, right? This whole entire story that we told, Luann, who has spent the last 7 years building this baby, a well-designed business. It is truly, it's not easy. I think you said that towards the end of part 3. It's not easy. Not every day is perfect, but we get to do what we love, and that's the most important part.
I wish I could hug you right now. So I didn't know that's what the story you were going to tell. I probably would have not put you back on the spot with it, my friend. But this is the thing, right? And this is like what Christy keeps exposing me to, is that, you know, here's content creators out there. Here's, you know, interior designers, you, a storyteller, a master documentarian, and, you know, the real things that are happening day to day. You know, it's Game Face Day, and maybe it doesn't feel like it. Well, I have to say, you always showed up, Game Face. Mm-hmm. You truly did, sir. You truly did. And you created something really special, and I'm forever grateful to you for it.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm looking at the chat too, and I appreciate the comments in the chat. You know, normally it's easy to tell that story because I told that story without a problem at road mapping, but I think I'm going to try to tell the story because I think there's context to this, and it's because it's been 8 years, I think, but I think I still wish that my dad could see some of my work. So in 2014, I went to a leadership conference, and I always knew leadership was important to me. But I had this crazy idea that I would go to Spokane, Washington. So now, for people who don't know, I live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is, Florida itself is the furthest southeast point of America, and Washington State is the furthest northwest point. So I had this crazy idea that I would go from northwest to southeast. I'm 25 years old. I felt like it would never happen again. And the craziest part about it is that I decided to take a Greyhound bus. Really dumb idea. 3 days, I was miserable. But the second day we got to Chicago, Illinois, I had my phone off the entire time, but I got to Chicago, Illinois, turned on my phone, and I got a text message from my sister. And the text said, "Call me back, it's urgent." Now it is July 2014. In March, my father had been diagnosed with prostate cancer. And earlier that year, my mom had attempted suicide. So I knew it was either mom or dad. I called my sister back. Unfortunately, it ended up being dad. And I took the first flight back home to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. That morning, my brother picked me up from the airport. He came with his daughter, my niece, Ayana. I hugged my brother. I didn't say a word. I hugged my niece, and I didn't say a word. But I sat in the back seat with my niece, looking out the window because I'm 25 years old. I'm the youngest of 10 children. And I never imagined that I would lose my father at such an early age. And so as I'm staring out the window, Ayana looks at me and she says, "Why did Grandpa have to die?" And I stared at her because she's all of 9 years old. I don't know how to respond to her. And she says it again, "Why did Grandpa have to die?" That question rang in my ear as we, as a family, made funeral arrangements. And then we got to the funeral, and I, Jude Charles, the youngest of 10 children, am tasked with giving my father's eulogy. And it was after giving my father's eulogy that I realized that not only was leadership important, but leadership was important because I am called to lead through difficult moments. And so in road mapping, I told that story to Luann. I opened with that story because I told Luann, I'm not here to tell you how to tell a story. I'm not here to even create a cool video. I'm here to lead you through this process. And I think together for the past year, that is what I have done. Even when you have sent me Voxers saying, why am I doing this? Why are we putting out this documentary? I feel like I got that every 2 weeks out of you. And, but I led you through the process. I walked you away from the cliff that you were wanting to jump off of. And I did that because I know that's part of my calling, is to lead and empower entrepreneurs to have relentless courage. And it took a lot of courage for you to put this story out because what I loved is that this was not a vanity project for you. This was truly about sharing your community, what you've built in the last 7 years. And so that's why it's special to me. And I thank you for that. And I thank you that you gave me an opportunity to share my gift with your audience.
You know, it's funny because in the beginning, thinking about your leadership, right? And how that was your moment of figuring it out, that here you were the youngest and you had to step up and lead. And I remember feeling and learning from you that was when you learned I'm a leader. This is who I am. It makes sense that I'm the youngest doing this, but clearly I'm the leader. And you have taken it to your business and you have taken it to your clients. And we talk about that on the show a lot too. Like, you're the leader in the room. You're the designer. You're the leader in the room. The client wants to be led. And you did it throughout the whole year, in the good times, the fun times, and the not so fun times. And, you know, it was funny because in the beginning, I would box her and I'd be like, I'm not sure about this. Like, this seems crazy. Like, who's ever going to watch this? Like, this is, but it was like, you know, okay. And then he would come and we would film, and then I would have a great time filming and it would be fine. And then in the post-production, that was when I was like, literally, I'm like, okay, I'm on the ledge. I'm on the ledge, Mr. Charles. I'm on the ledge. You're the guy who's going to get me off the ledge. Let's see if you can do it this time, because I'm not sure. I'm pretty far out on that ledge. I have no idea why I did this. I'm not sure anybody's ever going to watch it. And this seems crazy pants to me. And I'm like, so you have a great day. Have fun with that. See if you can save me again. And the thing is, what I loved was he would never just be like, hey, Lou, get off the ledge. It's fine. Put your big girl panties on. He'd say, okay. You have to, and he would be like, and this is this, and this is this, and this is this, and blah, blah. And I'd be like, you're absolutely right. Okay, thanks, bye. See you in 2 weeks when I'm on that ledge again.
And I was fine to do it. You weren't a crazy client. I didn't feel like you were crazy at all. I was fine to do it. And here we are today. And I think now you get to see what I was talking about all those times of like, no, this is truly like, you have shared not only your story, but I think you've like Sandra Funk that's in the documentary, and Corey Damon Jenkins, and
Cheryl's story,
Cheryl's story, right? Well, you didn't just share your own story.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You didn't just share your own story. You shared the story of all the interior designers who have grown with you, grown with the podcast, right? And I think that is, again, it's such a special project. And I can't talk about it enough how thankful I am to be able to do it.
Yeah. So, so this is a little bit what's going to happen at Luann Live, right? We're going to delve into these topics about having to be a creator, you know, when you've got real stuff going on. I'm curious, I know Cheryl Luckett was watching the video.
She's here. Yeah,
is she here?
I see her in the chat.
I'd love for Cheryl to come on and see, because she hasn't seen it yet, right? Except for the little clip. So I'd love for Cheryl to tell us what she thinks about watching herself. Do I have to do anything? I don't know.
There you are. Okay. I was texting Rashida and I was like, I hope they don't turn these cameras on. So thanks a lot.
We love you. We love you no matter how you are. I mean, honest to gosh. I mean, how did you like watching that, Cheryl?
So good. I've already texted a video to my mom.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was so good. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm a huge fan. I still listen to the podcast weekly. I don't know why that surprises you.
I don't know, it does though.
But I do. And I still learn almost every episode. And I mean, there is no doubt this is year 6 for me out of corporate. And I mean, I don't even know where my business would be without this podcast. I mean, I can't, yes, I've hired business coaches and I've done all the things, but this has been the most consistent thing over those 6 years that has contributed time after time after time to my business. And I'm sure I speak for everybody who has joined us that you guys rock, and that was amazing.
Well, thank you. And I'm so glad that you were a part of it. And also letting everyone know that Cheryl's going to be a speaker at Luann Live. I locked her down, got that lady. So, I mean, but it is funny. It does surprise me because usually the more a designer locks her business down, the less they tend to listen to the show. Like, I mean, I know that it doesn't offend me, whatever, but I know that you do, because not only do we talk every once in a while, but then you'll come into like one of the Instagram posts and you're like, then they said such and such. And I'm like, still listening.
Look, I'm telling you, I am a religious listener.
Well, you know what the thing is, you're like me. It's like, I still learn something every episode, like I do. And so I'm like, I got to do it. You don't have to do it. But I just think that you're one of those knowledge seekers.
Yeah.
And just know that one idea, like you might be listening to probably 80% of the shows now thinking, got it. But it's like that one moment where you're like, whoa, there's an idea, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Right. I just caught real quick in the chat, Rachel saying she's facing a hardest struggle now. Our friend Rachel. I have to see that chat message there. Anyway, we'll look for that. Cheryl, thank you so much. And thank you for coming on, even though you didn't know you called. Cheers. Okay, well, you know what? I would love for that was Patty Lynn that said that message. I thought it was Rachel. Okay, so does Patty Lynn, do you want to come up and talk or just keep it in the chat? I don't want to put you on the spot, all the things. While we're seeing her answer, I'm going to queue up. I don't know I think Sandra Funk might be here. I don't know if Stacey Garcia is here. Sarah Daniele, we want to say hello. Sure, but my camera isn't working. Okay, so it's been on. Where is the baby tiger? Is that Mom saying that? Yeah. The baby tiger is still in my trunk, Mom, but I have my other tigers here. Look I got to show you. Oh, I can't. I don't have clothes on the bottom of me. Will you get my tiger up there? You are wearing clothes. Well, I'm wearing clothes. All right. I'm just not wearing pretty clothes on the bottom.
No, she doesn't have clothes on. Christy, help her.
So here is my tiger hat that my granddaughter Bella had these hats at her birthday party. And so there was a tiger one, so I had to take it. And then Lucy, my other granddaughter, who's 5 and doesn't really understand things, every time she comes to my office, I have to hide this because she wants it and she wants to take it home. And I'm like, no, it's Mom's. And the first time it was like she was crying and I'm just like, I'm not giving in. It's Mom's hat. It's not happening. So now I just hide it when she comes over. Hello, Miss Sandra Funk. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm so good. That was goosebumps all over. Jude, beautiful. Luann, thank you. I say this all the time, but you are the glue that has this industry connected and collaborating. We have gone from competition to reaching out our hands and helping each other. And it is so beautiful.
I know. I mean, you have been there on the journey with me from the beginning. And I've told this story once or twice, but the thing is, the thing that always, I remember when you first started to come to Window Works with your business. And that was when I was in the trenches every day. And now, thankfully, Kimberly is the one who is our expert for that. Thank God for her. But I remember meeting you back in the trenches. Kim was with us already then, but she was my assistant then. Mm-hmm. And by the maybe third project that we had done for you, first of all, I want to say the first time, I know I can't tell the story in a straight line. It's so freaking ridiculous. But the first time I met you, we measured a shutter job. And I walked out of there and I said to Kim, that's a smart lady. And she's like, what? I said, the questions that she asked. Most designers just like, whatever, I want to do shutters. And you're like, well, that window won't work. Well, can't you make it work? No, you can't make it work. I said, it won't work, right? And but you asked intelligent questions. And so I said to Kim, that's a smart lady. And then we did 2-3 other projects. And it was probably Nicole Heimer now, and no, maybe it was a business coach, but all of a sudden I'm sitting at my desk at Window Works and this email comes from Sandra Funk and it says, hi, Luann, I'm embarking on this project and, I don't know, business development or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if you would answer, 3 questions about me. And, I don't know if you remember the damn questions, but I was like, oh my God. And I was like, here's what I noticed. You are a numbers person and that you recognize things and you're analytical and that you pay attention to the details and that you ask good questions. And I was like, bang, 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 right? Because you just literally from the beginning impressed me like that when I barely knew you. And then, of course, you became one of the designers when I was really debating this podcast. And I'd be like, I think this, what do you think? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you remember Christy Turgeon. I just talked to Christy Turgeon last week, one of your clients over in Montclair. We were standing on her porch and there was a dilemma I had. And I had to say a hard no to something that in the short term was like, how could I say no to it? But in the long term, I was like, I just don't think it's right. And I ran it by you and you're like, nope. I'm with you. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay.
We had so many of those. Do you remember you guys, seriously, you know how Lou can talk. And, when you got Lou on your side and, you did my podcast, you did my window treatments for many, many years, but we were always talking business. Always, always, always. So at one point or another, you and I are in a shower measuring for a shower curtain and we get down some rabbit hole. Christy, I'm not kidding. This actually happened. We get down some rabbit hole and we are deep in the like, what should I do? How should I position this? What should I say next? And the client comes in, the bathroom opens the door and is like, everything okay? We're like, totally fine. We're totally good. We're like almost done.
We're just hanging out in your shower for 45 minutes, acting like they're measuring a shower curtain.
Like this shower curtain is going to be so perfect because we are measuring the hell out of it.
Oh my God. It's so true. It's so true.
So good.
Well, okay. I thank you for being on this journey with me, my friend.
I thank you for always, always being that ear and that wisdom and those questions. I have to wrap it up because there I was at the bottom of everything with those clients falling apart. And it was like one of those, well, what's the common denominator? Lou's asking me the tough questions. And I was like, me. I feel like a Taylor Swift song. It's me. It's me. And it was the precipice to fix it. It was a precipice to really, really catapult ahead. So I always. That
was a tough thing because you literally looked at me right as we were walking into the plane. And we were coincidentally on the same flight. We didn't book together and we weren't sitting together. And I just literally, I was like, I'm sorry. If it's 3 out of 3 in the last month, I'm like, sweetie, love you.
Just dropping big thoughts before that flight.
And then I'm like sitting on the plane. I'm like, I'm not there. Like, oh my God, like that. Like I wanted to get up and go, like, okay, you okay?
No, but you know what happened? Whatever that flight was, a couple hours home, right? And then I drove you home that night and we sat in my car in your driveway for no less than 3 hours
Daddy's texting me. He's like, what the heck time did your plane?
Are you
I'm like,
coming home?
Driveway.
I'm sorry, Vin, I needed her. We sat in your driveway after the hour long, pick up our bags, get in the car, talk. We sat in your driveway for 3 hours and we fixed everything. We fixed everything. It's all good now. I love your guts.
Love your guts too, lady.
Thank you.
All right. So here's the thing. I definitely want Rebel Woods, Sarah Daniele to say hello, Rebel Woods and my Doma to say hello. But I also don't want to, we're hilarious, right? I don't want to exclude any of you that want to share your reactions or share thanks or something to Cheryl or Sandra or Stacey or somebody that inspired you. So I'm getting a thing from a director. Oh, she's saying you could raise your hand. That's what you could do. You could raise your hand. I guess it's like a virtual hand though. Okay. All right. Okay. I see Chloe signed off a few moments ago. Chloe Bullock is in the UK. So it's like, God knows what time there, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. I have no idea. Oh, Stacey Garcia is here. We're going to say hello. 1 second. But Chloe is one of the listeners from the beginning. You always hear me talk about the listeners from the beginning that make an impression. And Nancy Ganskaufer, who is also here.
She's still here, she said.
Oh, Chloe, you are still here. Okay. She, listener from the beginning. Hey, lady, I'm going to say hello in a second. Listener from the beginning. And I remember, you remember when you looked at me and said, you're like the epitome of like launch fast and repent later or whatever the heck that sentence is. Repent. I think it's repent. Iterate later.
Launch fast, adjust later.
Launch fast, adjust later. I'm so fast that I don't even know that second half of the sentence, okay? But Nancy Ganskaufer and I, one time we were on the phone. I'm walking in California at my dad's house, walking around the court, and she's just asking me a question about something. And the next thing we know, the question became an idea, became another idea, and then we launched the Sales for Creatives Money Mindset and Sales course in like a half hour. And then in 8 days, it was live. But Chloe was in that class. And that was when I got to know Chloe. Nancy and I both did. And she's been a devoted listener. And one day I'm coming to the UK, lady, and I'm going to give you a hug. So thank you, Chloe, for staying up with us. Miss Stacey Garcia.
Hi, I'm trying to figure out what is going on with my camera. I guess it's my angle because I'm on my phone. But anyway, blown away as usual. I mean, I was sitting here, I had my son with me, we're eating dinner, we're watching the live launch party on YouTube. And I'm going, you don't understand. Like, she's the rock star in the industry. Like, you don't understand. And it's everything that came through. I mean, like everybody was saying, your authenticity, you make everybody feel like family. Like, I think you just make everyone feel like we're talking to someone we've known forever. Like, we're part of your crew, we're part of your family. I think you have a way where you can give really tough love and never make people feel judged. Like it's hard because sometimes you get that tough love and you feel stupid. You're like, how did I miss that? Or we don't feel judged by you. We feel like you truly are trying to help people. But I have to tell you, we were just watching this and Jude, you have me like crying, about your story because you never know what people are going through. You don't know what chapter people are in and what they're going through. And I'm just completely in awe, just blown away by the caliber, by the storytelling, by what you've accomplished in your life, by that peek behind the curtain, showing off your daughters and your grandbabies and just this beautiful life you've built. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud to call you a friend and really just sitting here, like we say, in Yiddish, I have nachas for you. Like, I'm just vibrating with joy for you, my friend, and for what you've accomplished. And, the fun part is because you've sort of gone like you and I have talked a lot about this, the idea of law of abundance. You pull people up along with you for the journey. You share the stage with people. You're so incredibly generous. And I think that's, so much of your success, because trust me, there are a lot of people who start businesses and start, these kind of ventures and they go, it's a business and there's no heart. There's no soul. And you sort of have that magic of being able to do both, of bringing the heart and soul and your authenticity to this industry, and then also making it a business so that it can sustain and continue to help people. but the things you continue to do, these Luann Lives, this docu-series, I'm telling you, I felt like I was watching a feature film. Like I need to put it back on the big screen now and rewatch it again.
Yeah.
But it's incredible what you were able to create and what you invested in, you know, to bring this story forward, to inspire the industry to share this little piece of your story. I know there's a lot more to it. Like you said, I'm sure, you know, not only that was left on the cutting room floor, but, you know, so much more that goes on. And you just struck the right balance and did it in a way that, I mean, top notch, like truly, I feel like this is, you know, Emmy winning television here, but I'm just so proud of you.
I mean, Jude, he did it, like, right. He's the one that, you know, I'm doing my thing, but he's the one crafting it into this really well done, highly professional experience for all of us. And, you know, I'm, you know, grateful to you, Stace, because, like you said in the thing, the very first time we ever spoke to each other, we're like, oh, okay, it's an hour and a half and we haven't hit record yet. And then we're like, I was dying because it was like my first year of podcasting. So I really was like, my God, I don't have time to do it anymore. Like, what am I going to do? And then all of a sudden you're like, you know, I got to tell you, I can't do the podcast now. I have things to do. I'm like, oh my God.
Right. Okay. We'll reschedule it. Right. But I have a new friend now along the way.
Oh my God. And I remember, as a matter of fact, talk about Kim from WindowWorks. Kim was the one who said to me, you got to get Stacey Garcia on the show. It's like, I do? And she's like, you do? And I'm like looking you up and I'm like, oh my God, she's amazing. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you, Kim.
Yeah. Kim, she was in the beginning. Kim would always cue me into like the industry leaders like yourself and be like, I don't know. And Vanessa De Leon, she was the same. She's like, you got to get Vanessa. So Kim is a pretty smart cookie. And she turned me on to you. And I remember that conversation so well. And then of course, when we did the second interview during COVID, we did the same blasted thing. We talked for 2 hours. We're like, okay, well, get your calendar out because we didn't record again.
Oh, please. I think we came up with 3 new business ideas we were starting. Like, you know, it's the worst. Anyway, that's the, you know, I think the common theme, that was one of the things I took away from watching your Friday at High Point, you know, and some of the interviews. I don't remember which gal it was who said, like, you come out of here, it's like 600 different things that you want to do. And then you have to like rein it in and remind yourself, like, okay, what's going to have the biggest impact? And I think that's one of the biggest challenges when you're a small business owner and when you have an entrepreneurial mindset, because everything seems like a good idea. Like you're like, oh, I could do anything.
Right.
You know, and I remember like hearing that for the first time, and it was like my mind was blown, where someone was like, yeah, you can do anything. You just can't do everything. And I was like, oh, right. Yeah. So good takeaways. Well, I will let other people jump on. And again, just wanted to share how excited and proud I am for you, and just next level, sister. You just keep up in your game. Amazing. Love you too. Bye.
Oh my goodness. All righty. Miss Sarah Daniele, My Doma Studio. She had to be putting kids to bed and everything while we were doing this. How are you, lady?
Oh, I'm good. I convinced them to watch a show with me. And then was told repeatedly that this is the worst show ever because there's no kids in it. And I said, well, there's lots of kids.
What did they think when they saw you on it?
I already put them to bed. After they said it was the worst show, I'm like, you're out of here.
All
that
right.
time.
Well, we won't be polling the children for their opinion then.
No, absolutely not.
Definitely not.
I'm sorry,
So
you
listen,
can't compete with Disney.
I want to say to you, sweetie, you know, like Kravitz was from the beginning, from the very, very beginning, and you were a hot minute later. And the thing that I have said publicly about you, I think I knew you for like 3 or 4 years before I found out like you were turning 30. I was like, wait, what? like, I remember you telling me, right? You remember me saying that? I'm like, this woman is a powerhouse. Like the way that you have designed your business, spearheaded your business, fought for your business, you know, made the connections for your business. And then you did it for mine. You did it for my business. You were constantly like, okay, I'm going to High Point. I'm knocking down doors. We're going to get you panel discussions. We're going to get you speaking engagements. And I was like, okay. And then like 3 years later, I'm like, wait, you're going to be 30 now? Like what? You were a baby doing this? So I mean, I just have such like respect for your business brain at such a young age. It's crazy. It's crazy.
You can't say things like that to me on your premiere day. Like, you're going to make me cry. I am so thankful for our friendship over the years. You know that. You truly are a remarkable woman. And thank you for such sweet compliments, but it's, you know, it's the team around you. And today, being International Women's Day, I was really feeling very introspective and just listing off all the people that have helped me become a better mother, a better businesswoman, build a great community. And I was like, I don't even know how to tag all these people. Like, this is insanity, because at some point everybody has played that role. And I think in your documentary today, you really captured that. Just like the connection, right, of everybody intertwined. And you are the master, right, of just networking and bringing people together. So hats off to you, my friend. Like, you know, for these years that we have built friendship, like, I look forward to those Voxers, you know, those emails, those calls that I know when we're going to record a podcast, but just talk for 2 hours instead, and then realize we need to reschedule 3 times over.
We just did the same thing 2 weeks ago. Same thing. Okay, well, it's been 2 hours. Well, maybe we'll just find another spot in the calendar for this.
Yeah. We're like, when we get too busy to book time to speak together, we have to book a podcast. So that way we'll actually not do 2-minute, or 8-minute Voxers every other day. It was a remarkable documentary, and I am so thankful to be in your journey. Honestly, it's very, very inspiring. So thank you for having me. And I cannot wait to be at Luann Live. I am happy for it. It's on the calendar. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait for these aha moments. Like, honestly, everybody here, you need to come to Luann Live. I'm just going to say it, because I know how moving it is. I was there at the first one in person, and it was just like no other event. So
Yep. Well, we'll see each other in High Point, and then we'll see each other in High Point again, and then we'll see each other at Luann Live. So yes.
I think we also see each other in New York City for IDS.
Oh, that's right. In between, right? IDS in August, right? Oh, by the way, not for nothing, but you know what just happened today? This is like a little in the DL, because it's not 100% official, but I would say it's 99.9%. We're going to have the birthday party for the podcast. And I thought, oh my God, I've got to call Sarah. I just met with Kravitz this morning. We're having it in LA on March 13th, I think. No, we already had March 13th. It was like 13th.
What month?
Next month. Yeah.
Okay. April 13th?
Yeah. And I was like, I had the meeting. And then I was like, oh my God, I got to tell Sarah, and I got to tell John and Aubrey at Rebel Woods and see if they want to come. So if you're in California, we're going to, is Thursday? Okay. Where's my phone? Is Lord. Thursday like April 13th? Is that a Thursday?
I don't know. Let me just check my phone. See where I am April 13th.
Because that is for everybody in California, in Los Angeles area. We're having a party at Kravitz. Like, we're having a party. So
a real party.
I'm looking at this, but not having anything to do, because I can't do 2 things at once. All righty, lady.
Okay,
I love you guys. We have
your guts,
prizes to give away. So this is, April 13th at Kravitz in the Pacific Design Center, PDC. Okay. I love my daughter's reactions. Oh my gosh. Okay. So here's the thing. I want to have John, if Aubrey's here, John's here. I want them to say hello. But I also we're going to do prizes. So just hang on 5 seconds. So is both John and Aubrey here, or just one or the other?
John has to accept the panelist.
John, you need to accept panelists, please. Okay. And Aubrey says just Aubrey.
Yeah, is that her?
Is that you, Aubrey, or is that John? That's John. Hey, buddy.
Hey, can you see? I'm rocking my George of the Rescue shirt, which was a part of the whole relationship thing.
That's it. Okay.
I know. I loved that, by the way. I'm going to interrupt your prizes here for a minute and just talk about how great you are.
No, see, my turn first. My turn first. My turn first.
I guess it's your show. I will let you know what. I'll let you have this one.
Yeah, no, I mean, I am just so grateful that the podcast brought us together. I know how much the Vin Man loves and adores you. And of course, it extends to your mom and dad as well. We've come to know all of you so well, and you guys are great supporters of the podcast. And we just believe in Rebel Woods, just the way we believe in Kravit and Mydoma. And it's just having this connection is so cool. So thanks for being here tonight. And thanks for being on the journey with us, John.
Oh, what a ride this has been. I mean, I've watched, I mean, it's no secret, right? I've just watched you in awe as this started. I think back to our first conversation, whenever I'm having a bad day, I think back to our first few conversations and I just think, man, how that all happened and how we became friends. And I just man, if I could do that, no bad day, this is awesome. It's just, that's one of my mental pole positions that I go to when things are rocky. But what an incredible journey. I feel like the imposter out of all the names you've mentioned here, but for whatever reason, you let me hang around and I'm going to keep hanging around till you kick me out.
Yeah. Well, you know me. I love having the whole gang when we do things. As a matter of fact, you're going to meet the crew from Duke Renders this October market. And John, it's so funny because Duke Renders is a new sponsor of the podcast. And I've gotten to know Fernando, the owner of Duke Renders, very well. His wife, Mina, who's an interior designer, and their team, Gustavo, Enrique, David, and Shamira. And the thing about it is that Fernando is on Voxer with me, like I have all of you on Voxer, and he's like, so we're thinking about doing High Point, but we're not sure what we do. And I'm like, oh, just if it's okay with you, just come with me everywhere I go. I said, because that's the way to just meet all the peoples. I'm like, this is what John did the first couple of markets. I said, now he's a big guy and he goes on his own and then he comes back. But and they're like, sign us up. We're gonna just be with you the whole time. So
that was life changing. I mean, you were selling me on the Power Talk event and everything we were sponsoring. And I was like, yeah, that's all fine. But we're going to this market. I'd never been to one. Can I just follow you around? I'll stay 6 feet back. You can have a little, I won't I'll follow a little notebook, whatever you need, right? To cover story. She's like, what? Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah, of course. And I was like, oh, well then we're good. No, that was life changing. I met Sarah there. I mean, it was, I met Lori, Mia, I met Nancy, I met a bunch of men. I'm sorry for anyone who's in here tonight who was also there that week in Vegas that I didn't mention quite yet, but I just know that I love you. But that was life. That was transformative, honestly.
It's so fun. It's the truth. I love to be with everybody. It's just so much fun. So anyway, John, thank you. So I appreciate you and I appreciate that we're on this journey together.
Well, I didn't know what to expect. I had an idea of Jude's caliber of storytelling, but my God, that was unbelievable.
I know.
Really unbelievable. And I'm not just saying that. I would have just signed off by now if I didn't feel that way. It was really incredible. And I was watching those moments and I was in the room for a lot of them. Still just feeling that all over again. I mean, really captured what it was like to be there for the ones that I was there for. I imagine the others, that was true too, but incredible.
Yeah, I know. Very cool. Very cool. All right,
well,
my friend.
Thank you. I'm going to give you your time back. Love you too.
All right. Bye. All right. We have prizes to give. I know people are looking for, and I want you to talk about a little bit too, when we're done prizes, about your thoughts and your feelings about Luann Live and the contribution that you would like to see infused into it this year. Okay. So I didn't tell her I was going to ask her that. So I'm giving it to her now so she can think about it. All right. You're ready. Zelda's ready for prizes. Yay. Nancy's ready for prizes. Nancy's from Long Island. Okay. Leslie's ready for prizes. Leslie's from everywhere. Canada, California, Texas, All right. Everybody's ready. Everybody's ready. Okay. So ready. Everybody's ready. Look, that's so cool. That's so fun.
Oh my God.
All right. Did we do the robo raffle? Do you have the names?
I have the first one for coaching session.
Okay. Drum roll, please. This one is for 90 minutes. If you can take 90 minutes with me at one time. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Good luck. I was just going to say the thing I was going to say, but instead I'll say buckle up. That's the winner? Monica with a K is the winner of the 90-minute coaching session with me. Can we bring Monica with a K up? All right. Monica with a K. Monica with a K. I feel like, let's make a deal. Monica with a K, come on up. But you're going to have like a Twix bar in your pocket and like a yo-yo somewhere, right? Yeah, that's how let's make a deal was. Monica, are you coming on screen to talk to us? Jessica Deuce is here. Hi, Jess. Hey, I'm showing my age. That's right. She's like, what's that? Hi, Maria. How are you? Hey, Monica. How are you?
Hi.
So, Monica, what's your last name?
It's Jelska.
And what is the name of your business?
MJ Studio.
And where are you located?
I'm in Chicago area.
Okay. How many years in business?
So about 13 years of experience, 2.5 years in business. Like,
good for you.
2.5 years ago, I started my own firm.
Nice, nice. And is it a residential firm, a commercial firm? What kind of design?
Both. I started doing more and more commercial recently, which is my goal.
Okay. I love it. I love it. So I don't know, is Mariali with us tonight too? I wonder. So Mariali is my executive assistant extraordinaire. She is just the most amazing lady on the planet.
Oh, she's there.
Hey, lady, there she is. So Mariali will send you an email and we will get you in my calendar so that we can spend 90 minutes of like whatever you want to do. I can pick this apart. You can ask me any questions, it's
awesome. That's great. I'm very happy.
Piece it back together.
Yeah. Well, I'll pick it apart and then put it back together. Well, I'm really looking forward to getting to know you better, Monica. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, baby.
Bye.
All right, Mariali. You're going to get hooked up. Get me and Monica hooked up. Okay, now we are going to give away the $1,000 worth of spa self-care package, a night at home and a beautiful spa experience. Delightful, right? Right? Okay, are you ready? Oh, drum roll. Gloria is saying drum roll. What is it? Oh, last name. I thought she was just like, I don't know why. Okay, Mona Nam. Mona Nam, come on down. Bring your Twix and your yo-yo.
Got it this time. I really wish this was alcohol.
I know. We had to open the real alcohol. We're drinking this non-alcohol. Hi, Mona. How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually in a car listening.
That's okay. We're cool. So, Mona, where are you? Where's your business?
I'm in California. I'm a designer. I work in affordable housing. So, yes, but I met you from New York School of Interior Design. I was randomly placed in one of your panelists, and I had no idea what anything was going on, but it was a few years ago. Do you remember?
You were at Luann Live Virtual, weren't you?
Yes.
Yes, I remember that. I remember you. I did the presentation to your class. You were a senior. You were graduating, and then I said, "Everybody come!" And then you were at Luann Live Virtual.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And now you're a big grown-up designer. 2 years later.
I got certified. And I have my lead, my well, and my living future, and I'm CID also, I guess. So I'm doing good.
I remember this kid. This kid was just like all the like certifications, and you meet somebody that like right at graduating. And I remember she was like, I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to do this, and I'm like, and you look exactly like the kind of lady that's going to do all those things.
Well, exciting. I got to join, and I love listening to you when you talk because I just feel very inspired that there's someone out there coaching people and getting people to do things that they can only imagine.
Oh, I'm so glad that you won the spa package. Do you need a spa package?
I probably do. We do a lot of hard work out here. I do a lot of the amenity spaces, and it's a lot of caring about the people who use it, because I work in affordable and supportive housing, and just we do a lot of community engagement work, and there's a lot of people that we want to give them best interior experience possible, and we're always limited with funds, so it's always challenging and stressful, but we try to do the best we can.
See, that's a layer. You think about that, right? It's one thing when you have a $1 billion budget to make something beautiful, but when you're on a budget, and then to really have that initiative in your mind and your heart that you still want it to be nurturing for the people that are going to experience it. That's so cool. What part of California are you in now, Mona?
San Francisco.
Nice.
So, I live in Santa Clara, but the firm's in San Francisco. The project I'm working on is 160 units, and it's for TAYs and families. TAYs are transitional age youth, so who are aging out of foster care. And we're working with OMA on it, and I do all the interior planning and all the interior finishes and everything. So it's really fun.
You and everybody's saying in the chat that you deserve the spa package. Like, it's so
good.
Thank
you. I can't give a chat because I'm on the phone, but thank you. I'm excited too.
That's awesome. I'm so glad. You got it. Mariali will reach out to you, okay, and connect and get your address and everything, and we'll make sure we get that to you. Would you please stay in my world, please, like so that I know you're there, because I like knowing you're there. Like, this is the thing is, I remember meeting her, and I think in 10 years, this kid is going to be ruling, like, whatever she wants to do, and you could just see it in you. So we're losing her.
Oh, we're losing you.
Yeah.
I was like,
All right, sweetie. Oh yeah, we're losing you. Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, all right, sweetie. Thank you. Oh, there you are. Thank you for coming tonight. It's fun to reconnect with you.
Thank you.
All righty. Bye. I remember her. Very cool. Yeah, I remember her.
What she does is very cool.
I know, right? It's worthy work,
It's very
worthwhile work. Well, it's all worthy. Even like people who can afford it deserve it. But it's, Okay. Luann University. Ooh, Luann University ticket. 5-week class. Could be anyone that you want. Anyone that you want. It could be Design for Construction 101, 201. It could be QuickBooks 101. It could be the 7-step, make a friend 7-step sales process, which is good for designers and window treatment people, just telling you. It could be Vita's systems-driven operation for window treatment businesses. That is just for window treatment businesses. I mean, anybody could take it, but you're not going to get it, really. I wouldn't suggest it if you're not a window treatment person. All right, so I don't know the other classes off the top of my head. That's just a smattering. What?
We've got Lillian Adcox.
Ooh, all right, wait, we didn't do the drum roll. Lillian Adcox, come on down. You're the next contestant on.
With your Tootsie Roll.
And your yo-yo in the pocket. Oh my goodness. Hello, Lillian. Are you coming on camera?
She is. She needs a minute.
Oh, okay. Congrats. Everybody's saying congrats to Lillian.
Here she is.
Hello. You're on mute. You're on mute. On mute. So we can hear you.
Hi. I'm excited.
How are you?
I am fine, thank you.
So where are you, Lillian?
I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, nice. And do you own your own firm, or do you work for a firm? What's your world?
Prepping to launch. No, I work at a showroom for now. But I'm getting there. I'm watching I'm listening to all of the podcasts. I'm taking notes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We have a whole on our website. I don't know if you guys know this, but on luannigara.com, under podcasts, there's collections. So you can go to the collections for a well-designed business, the window treatment for profit, or SAS says, and you can pick. And there is a collection. You should be in the systems and process collection. and how they launched collections. That's where you should be living. Then you should go to like know your numbers and your money. Like, well, you should just go to all of them. I mean, you should. You're gonna go into business. You should know them all.
I am so excited. I kind of manifested it. I put it on my, I honestly couldn't afford it. So I was like, I'm gonna win it. I just put it right here. I'm so excited. Yes.
That's amazing.
So I couldn't say my name.
See, we're not surprised that you manifested
Yeah,
because
no,
we
we're
manifest
like,
all the time.
Yeah, that's very cool.
That's awesome. Lillian, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. I love
Thank you so much.
I would be happy for anybody to have it, but I know that it's the one you wanted, that you really wanted it.
I did. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's awesome. So anybody out there, Luann University is going to probably start registration the beginning of April 13th. Oh, the same day that I'm going to be in Los Angeles. Okay, April 13th. But you can go to luannuniversity.com now to see. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys. I forgot. Nicole is probably out there going, you never told them the link for Luann Live.
She's definitely out there saying.
She's definitely out there going, you see, this is why you can't trust me with this stuff. So
100%.
100%. Yeah. So
don't you have notes?
I do. I have notes everywhere, but then I get in front of everybody and I'm like, ah.
Oh, she put it in there for you.
Yes. So there it is. Okay. So Lillian, thank you, sweetie. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the docuseries.
I did. Yes. Thank you.
Good. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to document your journey of going into business and the things you learned and the lessons, the hard lessons that knocks you on your booty and the good things that you did right, that you went, yay me. And then you're going to pitch me and you're going to come on the show and we're like, you're the girl from the docuseries on that night that won Luann University. And we're going to go crazy and people are going to go, wow, that's nuts.
That will literally happen.
That will literally
like
happen.
Verbatim.
Exactly. Yes.
Thank you. That's also on my manifesting list. So I wanted to, that's one of my goals, to be on your show.
That's awesome. I love it. Marielle will hook you up with the code to get your free class. All right. So in the meantime,
Okay,
go to
thank you very much.
university.com and start figuring out which one you want. Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention Sarah Brennan's class. That's the one she should probably get. Yeah. Okay. Well, you'll figure out which one you want.
She gets to choose.
She gets to pick.
She gets
Okay.
choice. She's the winner.
All right. So here's the thing. Our final prize is for a VIP ticket to Luann Live. And if you're interested in like the little bit of information that we have ready for you, you would go to luannigara.com/LNL. Is that Luann Nigara Live, right? LNL. That's where you would go. And do you know how smart Nicole Heimer is? Can I tell you how smart she is? Like while they're roboing the raffle over there again. Do you know that she actually, because did you all just go to Luann Allen? Like, right? Did you just do it? Like, and she actually contacted the server for my website today and said, there might be a lot of activity. Get ready and don't crash that lady's site.
Smart lady.
She's smart. She thinks of the things nobody thinks of. I know. Like, it's crazy, right? Nicole is so smart, right? See, that's it.
Yes,
they know it.
I know.
Okay. So that's Nicole of Glory and Brand, by the way. All right. So this ticket is for a VIP experience at Luann Live, $2,495 value. And that means that you are going to be for all the things that we do from Sunday at 3:00 to Wednesday at 2:00. Yes. And it's going to be in Orlando. Now, I'm not paying your airfare in your hotel, just saying. The ticket, though, for the entire event. All right. Okay. So I know, haha, right? Okay. Now, let me going to tell you a couple of people.
Oh, sorry.
First of all, Brad Levitt is speaking at Luann Live. Seriously, remember when I had Brad Levitt on the show for like 4 episodes, the major builder from AFT Construction in Arizona?
I remember.
Yeah, right. Designers love Brad because you know what? He's smart and he gets it and he understands and he's so willing to help designers understand how to be a better partner and be prepared for the builder, right? Obsessed. Oh, he's your neighbor, right? But they're obsessed with him, right? Because you should be.
Like, truly that person's neighbor.
That's what it says. He is my neighbor. That's what it says. I know. Lucky. All right. So Brad's going to be there. So, Amanda, AMA Designs is manifesting. Is it the wrong link? I'm getting a 401 code.
No, Nicole's eye is twitching.
Yeah,
right now.
Nicole is going,
There's no 2023.
what?
There's no 2023. It's just /LNL.
I didn't say 2023.
Yeah, I'm talking to the chat like they can understand.
Oh, so it's luannigara.com/LNL.
Yeah.
See, everybody did go just like she said.
I know.
She knew it. She's smart. Okay.
Okay.
So
Right?
Christy's going to be there.
I know. Yes.
Christy's going to be there.
Yeah.
All right. So let's give away this ticket. Ellie Redders, come on down.
Do you know Ellie?
I don't think I do.
You might.
Why?
You never know. You knew the last winner.
Oh, right. Like I might not know her by her name. Right. It's a lot of times it's Ellie. Hi, Ellie. Winner, chicken dinner, Ellie.
I wrote it down.
Come on.
This is the one I wanted. Luann, you and I have talked on the phone before. Like, I don't even remember, probably a year ago, maybe now. And since then, I have used Rachel Bozick. I have, Sandra Funk. I bought Sandra Funk's The Standard. So I have been doing my homework since we talked on the phone, and I am ready to do this. So
Okay.
I'm super
So now
excited.
what you have to do is you got to get my wheels turning. So where do you live, Ellie? Where's your business?
St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay. And what I'm like getting a visual of me talking to you, walking around my dining room, right?
Yep.
And we were talking. Okay. And then, and so what happened was, if I'm remembering it correctly, it was like, you need to do these X amount of things and then come back to me when you've done these X amount of things. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, we were pretty ready. You were ready for me, but I felt like before I could spend all the money, I needed to have some things a little bit more buttoned up.
Okay.
And you even said to me, I'll hook you up with people to do some of these things. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to do some more homework on my own. So anyways.
This is the chairman of the board conversation, right?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
no, I'm not getting in the weeds with you. If you need a system, you got to go make a system. I'll be like, there's no system. Go get one and come back.
That's exactly it. Yep. That's exactly it. I'm so excited. This is
my
insane.
God. I'm so happy for you. So everybody's loving your wallpaper, Ellie. Everybody's
thank
commenting
you.
on your wallpaper. They want a better view of it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I'm in my room. So, I had to get away from the kids that were begging for dinner. I was too busy.
We had a movie to watch. No dinner tonight. Eat popcorn.
Right? That's right. Yep. That's right.
Oh my goodness. So I'm so glad that you won, Ellie. I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
that you won. I'm so
Well, you guys did a great, I listen to you probably multiple times a week. And every time I walk into my office, all my staff knows when they get in the car with me, it's always a podcast, and and every time I walk in the office, I'm like, okay, you guys, I have this idea. And they're like, oh gosh, no. So
That's how we feel over here.
I very much relate to her is the problem. Yeah.
I just did an interview today with a woman, Casey Gromer, who she is a fractional integrator.
Okay. Yes.
This is the people that crazy visionaries like us need to make all the pieces of their business work. And so, so Christy was my very first employee at the podcast, and she was there in the beginning doing all the things.
Very necessary to have that person. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So, well, thank you, Ellie, for being here. I totally appreciate you. And I'm so glad that you're going to be with us in Orlando.
Awesome. Okay. Yay. Thank you guys.
We'll get you hooked up.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. So I just saw we have Antonio. So Antonio Deloach, he is a love He is a love, and he is on the podcast next Tuesday, and he had a watch party tonight. Come on in.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
I know. And Denise was going. I wonder if she's still there. It's 9 o'clock. My goodness.
Ready? Do it again.
Where's your video?
Hold on, my video's not turning on.
Uh-oh.
There it is.
Come on, everybody. Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh my God, oh my God, look at you guys.
Support you.
Oh.
We love you.
Antonio, you are such a love. Thank you. Hang Denise. Oh my God. So Antonio, I recognize it faces, but tell everybody who's there so everybody watching knows who's with you there. Oh my goodness.
Do we all want to roughly?
Come on up. Come on up.
So Denise is in from Jersey. We love Denise. She is an interior designer in Jersey. Next up, introduce yourself.
Hey Lou.
Hi, baby.
How are you?
Awesome.
All right, say your name. I know your name. Tell everybody.
Nisi, interior designer from Valley Stream, New York.
We just had a great time in Vegas. Me
Yes,
and
we
Denise.
did.
Who else is there?
Come on, round robin. Come on up, Vin.
Hi.
Plug your name, plug your
My
business.
name is Vincent, Fine Painting NY.
Fine Painting NY. I met him at a Sherman-Williams event. He's an amazing human being, runs a phenomenal painting company. So anybody needs a painter in New York City, reach out to me and I will happily connect you to him.
Thank you, Vin, for coming. Thank you.
Come on up. We'll do this as quickly as possible for you.
Thank you, Antonio.
You're
Hello,
welcome.
everyone. Tron, very, very nice to meet you.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Did you guys have fun watching?
Oh my gosh, we've had a blast.
So much fun.
There's been champagne and wine and we're just celebrating you.
Ariana with A Box Collective in Brooklyn. We met, I was with Antonio at a panel for High Point this past fall and I met you.
Yes, I remember. Hi, sweetie. Thanks so much for coming tonight.
Yes. Sharon, come on up.
Come on.
So we love Sharon. I'm rooting for Sharon.
Hi, Luann.
Sharon loves you, loves your podcast, followed me on Instagram, showed up at our Gen Air Black History Amplify Black Voices event last week.
And the Brooklyn Heights
and
Show
the
House.
Brooklyn
That's
Designer
where I
Show
first
House,
saw you.
an aspiring interior designer
Yep.
lives here in New York City. And we love Sharon and I'm happy to
Thank
have you
you.
tonight.
Oh, thank you, Sharon, for coming. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Tiffany.
And we know each
Hey,
other.
girl. Hey, girl. How are ya?
Right now.
Hi. And you're the best. Hi, I'm Tiffany Farney of Digital Thread Consulting. I'm a publicist, and I've had the pleasure of working and collaborating with Luann for 7 years?
No, I know, sweetie. Oh my goodness, right? It's been a ride, right?
It has been. So thank you so much. Everything tonight was amazing, Luann. You were just such an inspiration.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being with us tonight, Tiff.
Of course.
Okay, last of the group, come on over.
I get to say hello to you. Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm Anderson Summersell, owner of Summersell, the first digital multi-line showroom. I just discovered your wonderful everything, and you're just fantastic. So kudos to you. You inspire a lot of people. That's a gift and a talent. So
Thank you.
glad to witness.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Him for having us.
Yes.
You are something else, my friend. You are just mwah.
I don't even know what I won.
What's that?
I don't even know what I won. Did I win anything?
No, you just won my heart forever.
Like I heard my name and I was just like, they're like, did you win? And I was like, I don't know.
We knew you told me you were having the watch party and I wanted to make sure I said hello to everybody.
Well, that's even better. I've already won by knowing you. So kudos to you. Thank you for creating space for all of us. We feel seen and we love you. And we're here to hold you up and celebrate you tonight. So raise a glass to Luann in the room today. We absolutely love you. So, your producer, your cameraman, I don't know where he went, Jude,
yes.
to hear his story tonight and to create space for him, like it's only up from here, and we can't, beyond thanks. Like we're
Thank
just
you.
full of gratitude for you. So
Thank you, buddy. Thank
feels
you.
like the top
He's
of-
Tuesday. He's on the podcast Tuesday.
Hey, podcast Tuesday. Listen, like I'm a newbie. Some of y'all have been here for a really, really long time. And I'm a firm believer that sometimes things drop into your life for a reason and in a season. And there's some seasons that come and go, and then there's other seasons that are here to stay. And I'm a firm believer that you're a season that's here to stay with me
I agree.
forever. I'm going to do everything in my power to show up for you. And when I got asked to be on your panel in the fall, I was like, "Who is Luann Nagara?" I was just like, I had no idea who she is. And I immediately just jumped into like a ton of your podcasts, flew from LA, like listened to I was just like, okay, like I've got to know who she is. Showed up at your birthday party and standing in the back of the room, I was like, she's onto something. And to have the overflow, right? Like we talk about and we dream about living in the overflow and watching people literally, you're in a glass box, like standing around you, cheering, and your husband, and like you almost tearing up. And it was so warming. And I was like, this is my person. Like, this is like, she's an amazing human being. And then for us to fill the room on the very last day of High Point, I was like, oh, there's no doubt in my mind this room is going to be full. And I was questioning, and everyone's like, I don't know, it's the last day of High Point. And sure enough, it was. So I'm excited to be on your podcast on Tuesday. I'm excited for our panel coming up in the spring at Market. And I'm just excited for all of the things that you have happening for not just you, but for the community. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, baby. Thank you, really.
Love you.
Bye, Denise. Love you, lady. Bye, Nisi. Bye, everybody.
Have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Oh, my goodness. All righty. So how fun, right?
The coolest thing ever.
I know. Antonio and I just met in October, but there's just somebody, it's like that. It was just like,
I know.
yeah. Nisi too. Nisi, I just met well, I've met her before, but that was the time I really got to know her. And there's some people you just connect with. So, all right, before I let you go, I know it's so late, but tell us a little bit about your vision for how you want to, we heard like Jude, that was unexpected for him to share that tonight, but it aligns perfectly with, I think I'll share with you that my journey with watching your journey, Diana's journey, okay? And melding that with building a business. And then what's happening is as these 7 years have gone by and I've really gotten to know you guys, and now you're actually sharing with me not just your business, but that next layer of your life, that's when it became like, oh yeah, we have to help the whole person.
Okay. Well, yes. But I think what I was prepared to say for right now is that, you are everything that everyone has been commenting, everything that came through the docuseries. You're just this powerhouse, this force, go-getter, all the things that I've just as your daughter been witness to. And I think this isn't a surprise, but coming into my adulthood and my entrepreneurial journey, I was confused why I wasn't able to do it like I saw you do it. And that has really been a catalyst for saying, okay, like there was probably more that met the eye for you that as a kid I didn't see. And I'm not you. No. I'm not just going to power through everything. And I need to feel some feelings, and I need to figure out the feelings and how they still align with building a business. And so it's been very important to me, just selfishly, but also just in the community that I'm building, that we're lifting up and we're growing financially, business-wise, but also as people. And I think that's what I was prepared to say. So
that was good. So Christy's podcast is Sass Says, and tell them a few minutes about your mission of your podcast.
Yeah, I started the podcast because I wanted to talk about my experience with therapy and the benefits of really exploring and being vulnerable and open about mental health. And it's evolving a bit, as we know, but right now it's still a lot of stories about mental health, resilience. I interview a lot of therapists, mental health professionals, coaches. We talk about business and pregnancy and motherhood and marriage, body image to death. Oh my God, we talk about body image.
Manifesting. We've had shows about manifesting, right?
Human design.
We've met the power of it.
And really what I'm kind of coming to learn, which is coming out in the more recent shows, is that I really like giving a platform to the helpers of the world, a space to feel seen. Like I find that a lot of the therapists, a lot of the coaches of the world, when they have a platform, it's always people wanting to, like, for lack of a better way, like take information, take. And so I want to say, no, you share. Yeah. Why do you do this? What makes you tick? What do you struggle with? What do you succeed in? And I find that really interesting.
Yeah. And she's so good at it. She really is. She really is. I listen to her show and she asks good questions, and you don't let the good moment go by, you know, and that's like, you're a good interviewer.
I will agree with you, Luann.
I
will agree with you, Luann. Yes. I like it. I love when you like it. It's really easy. And when you're genuinely interested, like you said on the show, if you weren't getting something back, you'd be bored and you wouldn't do it. And it's the same for me. Yeah. I really find it interesting to learn about why people decide to become the helpers and help people.
Yeah. So Nancy is saying you're amazing. Nancy G, and Eileen was saying the same. And you know,
I see that. Thank you.
Other people were saying I should be proud of her. I am proud of her. I'm proud of all of our kids. They all have special gifts and special things. Christy's are just intertwining in my world, but our other daughter, Bethany, is probably watching tonight, and she's a rock star. And then Matt and Mark are also out there with us tonight. And I just, there's something very special about each of them that we enjoy and we value. So
can I just say one more thing?
Sure.
I just wanted to say, like, watching you watch the docuseries and seeing you get emotional was actually really funny for me. And I did not get emotional. I was just smiling, and it reminds me of every big moment in my life. You rarely cried because you were so darn excited. And it was so funny to see you emotional and tearing up at your own experience, and then reflecting on the fact that I was just smiling at you, and it was like, oh, I get it.
Now you get it.
Okay.
Right? Like her and Vinny were in a puddle of mud crying when we were dropping her off to college. Yeah. And I'm like, she's going to Georgetown. Why are you crying? Like, this is amazing. Yeah. And I'm like, and emptying her room, like putting all the stuff in her room, like, okay, it's ready. Like, okay, I'm fun. I'm like, look at the quad's filled. Go to the quad. Have fun at the quad.
Yeah. And unrelated, but I wanted to say too, sorry, Jude spent an entire weekend with our entire family and couldn't have been more gracious, professional, warm. You're in your family home and you're there for the weekend, and there's cameras, and it felt so natural and so just normal, and he's so, dare I say, loving.
Yes.
Like, he just was, it just flowed so nicely. And it was so, after the first 10 minutes, it was like, oh, thank God it's Jude.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, we can still just be ourselves.
Yeah.
And that was really,
his
really
crew
wonderful.
The same way. His crew the same
whole
way.
Crew, like, everyone was really great.
Yeah. It was, it's amazing. Yeah. That the two of them were in our chaos for 3 or 4 days.
Yes.
Remember the first morning when he got there at 8:00 in the morning, and it was just me and Christy up with the babies, and who's screaming, who's yelling, who's this, and I'm just like, oh my God.
I also were like, I guess we should put bras on.
Oh my goodness.
Which we did.
Yeah.
We did do.
Yeah. So Tara just said she signed up for your self-care challenge.
Oh, nice. Yay. Cool.
Yes. Christy has a self-care challenge. I did it last year, and I'll tell you what, I needed to do it. I was like, this is good. I called her up. I'm like, this is actually really good. Oh my goodness. All right. It's 9:12. It's been amazing.
Yeah, see, she's excited.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's very
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. All right. Okay. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much for being with us. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep doing it. And I'm excited for you guys to be on this journey and watch Christy grow her community. And she has interviewed actually, right, a few interior designers on her podcast that have shared their story, their backstory, similar to what like Jude was talking about. You know, we talk about the business thing, but this is the human side of it, right? And how do you actually show up as the entrepreneur? And so anyway, all righty, guys.
You're gonna have to say goodbye.
I know. I don't want to though.
You said thank you. You did all the things. You said all the links you were supposed to say. Are there any more links she was supposed to say that she didn't?
Yeah. So, all right. So, luannigara.com/LNL. You also could look at Luann University. You could go to sasssays.com. Yeah.
Cool.
So
you're gonna have to say goodbye.
I know. I know. All right. Well, I think you might have to pull the plug on me. I don't think I could do it.
And scene.
Bye. This is Cheryl used to always do to me.
She still does. Oh my God.